Iron Supporting Food Banks collects food and cash donations for needy families in Newham Borough and beyond. Please consider making a donation via their Just Giving page, the link for which you will find in the description section of this stream. Come on, you Irons!
West Ham are massive, everywhere we go. West Ham are massive, everywhere we go. Everywhere we go. West Ham are massive, everywhere we go. West Ham are massive, everywhere we go.
Well, I wasn't planning on doing this, and then I thought, stuff it, why not? So, welcome aboard, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome again to the West Ham Massive. Thanks for joining us. Usual things. Please don't forget to like, comment on, and share the stream to your social media platforms, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And don't forget to hit the bell icon for alerts of new content. All these seconds are free for you to take action on. They take a couple of seconds and they help to grow the channel from its current base. Last I looked, 1,217 subscribers, which I thank every one of you for from the bottom of my heart. And hopefully we can get many more besides before we're very much older. Transfer deadline day is here. We are under an hour and a half from the window closing. I'm actually watching the Sky Sports deadline day live stream on YouTube. I've got it on the other tab, and I'm watching it, but as well as talking to you guys. They're on a break at the moment, and yeah, there's some strange ones happening, isn't there? I mean, there's a few that I sort of like scratch my head at, and not just West Ham ones. There's a few sort of signings that my son was telling me about earlier, and I just can't work out some of them. I mean, I sort of like Aaron Ramsdale has left Arsenal going to Bournemouth. That move made sense to me. And then he said, is it Neto has gone the other way? Neto's gone to has he gone to Arsenal or has he gone to Chelsea? Because Kepa's gone to Bournemouth, hasn't he? Yeah, that was it. Arsenal, Ramsdale, Bournemouth. Neto to Arsenal, Kepa to Bournemouth. But I'm like, Neto doesn't make sense to me. I'm like, well, that's a bit weird, because I sort of sit there and go, well, he's swapping one bench for another because he's not going to play first team football ahead of Raya. Just makes no sense to me. Just really, really strange. So anyway, 1 hour, 27 minutes. Just listening here to Darmesh. Manuel Ugarte is now a Manchester United player. So that deal is done. The Uruguayan midfielder, he's in at Manchester United, so that's a done deal. That is now announced. There was obviously a lot of rumours about, obviously, Edson Alvarez possibly going to Manchester United, but they've got the deal done for him. It's a 5-year deal, apparently, option for a further 12 months. It's an initial deal of 50 million euros, which is 42.1 million pounds, plus potential 10 million euro or 8.4 million pound in add-ons. He's not going to be eligible for the game they play on Sunday, which is against Liverpool. He wasn't registered in time, but Manuel Ugarte has gone from Paris Saint-Germain to Manchester United. Done deal, 5-year deal with an option for an extra year. It's an initial 42.1 million pounds with 8.4 million pounds in potential add-ons into the bargain. Interesting. I don't know what you think. I mean, I'm not a Man United fan, so to be quite honest, I don't really care. But it's good news for us in a way, as I say, because it's sort of, if they hadn't have got a player in that position, I do think that possibly there's a chance that Manchester United could have come back in for Edson Alvarez either January or maybe a year from now. So the fact that they've got this player in should put paid to that particular thing. Let's have a look. Let's see. Ken, hope you're well, mate. Looks like only one player in, an outside chance of one more. Yep. Neto deal is just hoping for a meal, I would think. Yeah, I mean, he's done it for money, hasn't he? I mean, he's he's got to probably have been pushed onto the bench by Kep. I don't think actually Kepa's that good. I know he was the world's most expensive goalkeeper at one point. He may still be, but I just sort of I don't see it. I mean, when he had that row with the who was the manager? That Italian fella. Oh, what was his name? Bald geezer, glasses, not bald, but going bald. Bit like me. What was his bloody Maurizio Sarri, wasn't it? And he had the row with the manager in the League Cup final at Wembley. That's him. Yeah, Sarri. Yeah. When that happened, mate, I went completely off the geezer. I was like, he needs to go. Geezer's a brat. So I'm just looking here. There's some footage of Scott McTominay, and where's he gone? He's gone to Napoli. That was it. Yeah, he's gone to Napoli. Again, player that we've been linked with in the past, even if just tentatively. So he's left. He's gone to Napoli. Again, I think that's a bit of a weird one. Good luck to him. You know, if they're going to give him first team football and they've got to put money in his pocket and all the rest of it, then good luck to him. Just having a little look here. So this was at 8:38 this evening, according to the Sky Sports website. James Ward-Prowse completed his medical. It's not announced that he's signed, but the medical is complete, and I'm guessing pending that being signed, sealed, and delivered, then he will be on, according to this, a season-long loan. He'll probably score a free kick in his first game. Obviously, with it being a loan, unless there's something strange that I don't know going on, but I'm not aware of it, he will not be able to play in 2 Premier League games this season, and they'll be the games against us. So the good thing is he won't be scoring a free kick against us, which is good news. According to this, obviously Arsenal are in talks to sign Raheem Sterling. To be honest with you, I think that's actually a move that would work out quite well for Arsenal, because I think that it would provide Saka a bit of respite, because the one thing about that kid, and I do think he's a good player, I think that he does get absolutely flogged and has done for quite some time. He's such an important player to them, but he doesn't get a break. So I think bringing in a player of Sterling's experience and quality to rotate with him possibly could be a good move. Decent signing. Not like I say, he was very tentatively linked with us. I was never quite sure if that was ever a move that was going to come to fruition myself. But you know, Mr. Gates, I'm guessing Lee. That's the male spelling. I do apologise if I've just insulted you. I'm pretty sure that's the male spelling. But a fellow Gates, from one Gates to another. There's not many people that I get on the line. In fact, I don't ever think, other than that are in my family, which you may be. We may be related, Lee. You never know. It is possible. I had it yesterday, right? Listen to this. So I went to the dentist yesterday, and I walked in, and they said, "Oh, Mr. Gates," and I said, "Yes, that's right." And they said, I get this all the time, and I dare say you do as well. And they turned around and went, "Are you related to Bill?" I've never heard that before, have I? Yeah. And I was like, yeah, well, if I was, do you think I'd be sort of driving the car that I've got? Really? Yeah, I've heard as far as I'm the worst YouTuber has come in and said he signed, it's just not official. Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard it's done, but it's not been announced yet. So, Vic, hope you're well. Thanks for coming along. Is the Chelsea player a defender? What the Carney Chukwuemeka? Is that the one you're on about, mate? Winger, I think. A winger, if I remember correctly. Smoked like a train, says Ken. Okay, not quite sure what that's in reference to. So yeah, I'm pretty sure. Let me just have a quick butchers. Just I don't want to lead you up a garden path. But I am pretty sure Carney Chukwuemeka is an attacking midfielder / left winger. So, do we need him? I'm not sure we do. I'm really not. I think that's a signing for making a signing's sake myself. But, at the end of the day, I suppose you've got to put your trust in the manager and just say he knows what he's doing. Oh, right, I see. Yes. Yes, you're right. Yeah, absolutely. So what are you on about? What are you going on about? What rumours and nonsense? What are you on about? I've got no idea what you're referring to. What have I said that's wrong? Don't know what you're on about. Bowen in the middle. What? Chuckle Mecca? If we sign him? Okay. Uh, could do, but I'm not a fan. Yeah. Oh, am I? Well, if you don't like it, clear off. See you later. Close the door on your way out. Never mind. Oh dear. What can you do? Anyway, so let's have a look here. What's going on? So you've got some geezer at Napoli. I think is this Napoli I'm looking at? Some Italian club. Okay, this geezer saying that Victor Osimhen is staying at Napoli, apparently. So just listening to Vicky Gomersall. So they're saying that he's not going to play any football for Antonio Conte, and yet he's turned around and said he's still playing. He's still going to stay at Napoli. Okay. Hmm. Interesting. Why would you? No, I guess it's got to be money, isn't it? As to why you'd stay at a club when the manager's turned around and said, "I just don't fancy you, mate." So there you go. Anyway, so just getting back to James Ward-Prowse, I've gone off on a tangent again. So at 8:38, according to the Sky Sports website, he completed a medical ahead of a season-long loan. As I say, I'm not sure if that's a loan with an obligation to buy or an option to buy or none of the above. Not quite sure. It doesn't make that point clear. So just having a look here as well, 8:29. So that was what we were saying about earlier. So Soler has completed his medical ahead of the move from West Ham. Again, it's not been announced yet that the deal is complete. It's just saying that the medical is done. But usually when the medical is done, unless the medical has picked something up, that's usually job done. It is a season-long loan. I saw something earlier that seemed to suggest it might have been a 2-year loan, but this here says that it's a season-long loan. So fair enough. There you go. Are you still here? Who cares? Okay, so what? And your point is completely redundant. Never mind. So sling your hook. Goodbye. Close the door on your way out. No one's forcing you to watch this with a gun against your head, mate. It's very simple. If you don't like what you see here, then just clear off. Yeah? Clear off. In fact, there you go. Goodbye. That's him got rid of. That is him got rid of. Probably about 12 years of age, I reckon. Probably about 12 years old. Um, I mean, yeah, so I'm using a fake background. And what of it? Who cares, quite frankly? No, as I say, I just sort of, just don't really see the point of people like that. It's like, it's like someone sitting there and watching the telly, isn't it? And sitting there moaning and groaning about what they're watching, but then they sit there watching it for another half an hour. You're like, if this is not something that works for you, then just turn over and watch something else. If this is not your cup of tea, then if you've got nothing nice to say, Move on. I know. I'm really sorry if you thought that I was in a studio. Um, I do apologize if you didn't realize that was that this behind me is not actually behind me. Yeah. So yeah. If that is if that makes me a bad person, then what can I tell you? You know, it is what it is. How you doing, James? Hope you are well. Hope you are all good in the hood. I hope you got my voice note earlier. I did get yours, and I responded. I've got my phone on silent at the minute, so you may well have responded. I'm just looking now. Okay, no problem. So yeah, let's. So they're on a break again. So I'm just going to have a little look. Let's say, so Soler, I'm expecting to happen fairly soon. But what else have we got? So this is timed at 9:46, so that's basically right now. Ryan Fraser has rejoined Southampton. He's gone there. So a bit of a trot, that, isn't it? You couldn't go much further apart in clubs if you tried. He's gone from Southampton to Newcastle. Literally just now. West Brom and Sheffield Wednesday. It says here keen on Everton's Mason Holgate. Okay. That was obviously be a drop down to division for him, but then again, maybe the way that Everton are going, they'll be in the Championship before. That'd be brilliant stadium in the Championship, wouldn't it? Bloody hell! I mean, they're a great club, Everton. So, but I'm not saying I wish that, but they've not had a good start. But it's only 2 games in the Premier League season. So Ryan Fraser's quoted as saying that he's probably the happiest man in Southampton at the minute. It's been a long summer, but my number one goal was to get back here, and now that's happened. So Ryan Fraser, a 2-year deal, according to this that I'm reading, and he is now a Southampton player back from Newcastle. And then just again, a couple of minutes ago, it was confirmed that Chelsea are very close to agreeing a deal for Jadon Sancho. That's a shame that I'm not saying it's a shame him going to Chelsea, but it's like he was at Dortmund. Obviously, he left Man City. He wasn't getting an opportunity that he thought was, what he was after. And he went to Dortmund. He was an absolute superstar. He got the big money move to Manchester United. And it's just it's back and forth. What can you do? But yeah, just hang on a minute, just have a look at these. Sorry, I've got these comments here. Gatesy, you were born near Leon-C, were you? Ah, nice. Not far from sunny Southend. So Lee from Leon-C, or near it, So, sorry, hang on, I've missed one. Throw a rock, some of the glass behind you to show it isn't real. I say it's not. I'm not going to sort of bullshit about it. That behind me is not really there. I'm not really in a TV studio. I mean, that character that I've kicked out seemed to think it was and seemed to think it was crime of the century. What can you do? But no, no, I don't really expect any sort of major announcements, mate. It's I think Soler is probably going to be it. If we made a second one and it was Carney Chukwuemeka or whoever, I think we've probably done quite well. I am there's a little thing part of me that sort of wonders, is doing all of this business sort of thing a good thing? 'Cause I remember doing an interview with Tony Cottee, and he seemed to think that doing sort of like ridiculous amounts of ins and outs, it sort of does upset the balance of the squad and the harmony and all the rest of it. And I think he's probably got a point in actual fact. Do I think Soler will take Souček's place? Souček is awful as a midfielder, but can steal a late goal if we bring him on for the last 10 to 20 minutes. I think he's personally, my opinion is I think he's the long-term successor for Lucas Paquetá, because I think it will probably be that he will be gone by this time next year. So I think that probably what you'll find, this is just my opinion, I don't know this for fact, I'm just giving my opinion. I think that Soler will be Paquetá's replacement, and that he will also only be a short-term fix, because I think hopefully he will be replaced by George Earthy. I believe, I hope so. John, thanks for popping along, mate. And yeah, it was great to see you as well last Saturday. The only shame of it was that poor old Michael had that sound system that was playing around on him. You know, his voice was doing fine, but his audio equipment was letting him down. It has to be said. So yeah, so let's have a look. Let's go back to the website and see if there's anything. But I've got a little bit of a soft spot. It's probably sentimental on my part because Jaden Sancho is from where I'm from, Kennington, in South London. Yes, I know I'm a West Ham fan from South London. If I'd have gone 4 miles that way, I'd have been at Chelsea. If I'd have gone 4 miles that way, I'd have been at the Den. But I was in the middle, and my dad supported West Ham. What can I tell you? So yeah, so it looks like Jadon Sancho's going to Manchester United on loan, and it's got an obligation to buy. So there you go. They're also, according to this was Chelsea are still waiting on a final decision from Victor Osimhen, but there was the report earlier from the guy in Italy that said he's staying. So you know, it is what it is. We'll see. Reece Nelson's gone to Ipswich. So he's gone to Ipswich on loan from Arsenal. Again, he was someone that we was linked with. They're just going on to some EFL news as well. Got to obviously sort of bulk it out a little bit because I guess it probably gets to this part and probably a lot of the deals are done, aren't they? Not really too much to go on, so they've got to sort of pack it out. I guess they got sort of content to sort of get out there. Let's just have a look at a few of your comments. So I bet Chelsea got a great deal on Sancho. Yeah, probably, mate. Probably. They've got a big squad though, ain't they? I mean, they need to trim that right down, don't they? So what's this? Hang on, just listen to this. Yeah, it's Holgate. They're just talking about Mason Holgate again. So just having a little listen to Vicky Gomersall. So there's breaking news. Let's have a listen. What's she gonna say to me? So where is this fella? So it's Mark McAdam. Is that the one? So he's got his Southampton. Okay, so he's at Southampton. Let's just listen to what he's got to say. So yeah. So yeah. So they're just confirming that Ryan Fraser's gone to Southampton. Yeah. Okay. So we already knew that. That's fine. Nothing really sort of revelatory. So that's crazy. Don't encourage him. Don't encourage him. He'll be putting even more stuff out with his big head. Oh dear. I will listen for it. No, okay. Okay, mate. Right. Hold on. Hold on just a moment. Let me invite. Bear with me a sec. So he seems quite happy with it. Going to Southampton. Oh, and he's saying about Maxwell Cornet. That's a shame. That it's my little baby girl. My baby girl. Yeah, I think it's a good. I think it's a good signing. Although I did turn around and say whether it was tongue in cheek or not, I'm not sure. We'll wait and see. But he could have his third relegation, couldn't he? Because he got relegated with Bournemouth and he got relegated with Sheffield United. So he might make the hat trick. But I think he's a good goalkeeper. In fairness, I'm saying that, but I mean he's a good goalkeeper in my opinion. So. Is taking 6 tramadol once the same as taking 2-3 times a day? I wouldn't recommend it, Vic. I really wouldn't recommend it. I would leave that well alone if I were you. So let's have a look. Let's just refresh this page and see if there's anything else that's come up. If anyone's interested in either Scottish Premiership football or Bundesliga football, then this might be your cup of Tetley. So Augsburg midfielder Arne Engels has arrived at Celtic Park ahead of his £11 million move to the Scottish champions. And he is 20-year-old, completed his medical in London earlier on Friday, but was caught in flight delays at Luton. I don't understand that. So he's done a medical in London. Have they not got the ability to do medicals in Glasgow? What is that all about? What is that all about? That is really bizarre. Chelsea must have a massive training ground, changing room to accommodate all the players. It is ridiculously. It is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, was it they got 8 goalkeepers? I mean, that's just mind blowing. Absolutely mind blowing. Let's have a look and see what other deals we've got that I've not covered off. So I said about Ugarte going to Man United. Let's have a look. So we got Hibernian have re-signed. Oh goodness, I'm guessing this is a Greek name. Nectarius Triantis. Nectarius. It sounds Nectarius. It sounds like an orange, doesn't it? Nectarine or something like that. Nectarius Triantis on a season-long loan from Sunderland. And apparently he's actually Australian. I guess he's obviously of Greek descent. Yeah, mate. Australian midfielder who can also play in defence. And apparently he was the second half of last season. He was on loan at Easter Road Hibernian. So if you've got any interest whatsoever in Championship football or Scottish football or Australian players, this is the place for you. This is the place for you. Tell your friends. Forget about watching Sky Sports Deadline Day on Sky Sports. You can listen to me rabbiting on and have a laugh. Sunderland Equa now. That's interesting. It's a loan deal. Now, have we got? I'm sure we've got a sell-on clause in because Pierre Equa was one of ours, wasn't he? And I'm sure we've got a sell-on in the deal that took him there. I'm sure there is. I don't know though. I mean, this says, excuse me, this says it's a loan, so I don't know. Do we get a slice of the loan fee? I ask myself. I mean, it won't be much, but it'll, it's a little bit of extra quid coming in. I don't know if that's the case. But yeah, apparently Pierre was gone from Sunderland to Saint Etienne. I mean, that's not bad, isn't it? Isn't that a club that Michel Platini played for? I'm sure it is. I'm sure that Michel Platini played for Saint Etienne before he went to Juventus. In fact, I'm just going to check now. Why not? Yeah, there you go. Saint Etienne. He started at Nancy or Nancy, if you're not French. Saint Etienne and Juventus were the 3 teams he played for. He weren't a bad player, was he? He weren't a bad player. Oh, you haven't. Oh God, I seriously don't do that to me. Am I going to have to call you an ambulance? Am I going to have to call you an ambulance, Vic? All right, you're an ambulance. There you go. It's an old joke. I can't help it. I can't help it. Ah, right. Here we go. Reinforcements. Look at this. Reinforcements. How are you, pal?
All right, mate. How's it going?
Yeah, not bad. I wasn't planning on doing this, to be honest, mate. And then I just thought, oh, do you know what? Stuff it. Let's just throw it together and just see what happens and just have a little bit of a giggle. So
sometimes
this is a weird one.
I know, mate. I know. Sometimes them videos are the best.
Yeah, just off the cuff, innit? You're not sort of got any script. You're not any sort of not prepped anything. Just we'll fly by the seat of our pants. It is what it is. But Tony, I mean, bloody hell. I mean, I know you, James. You years ago were going, we need to get this fella, and that was sort of when he was in the champ with Brentford, and he's going to Saudi. I mean, that's great for him. He's probably getting an absolute barrel load of money, but he's pretty much kissing his England career goodbye, isn't he? It's got to be.
Money talks, mate. At the end of the day,
yeah, maybe
he's let himself. For me, he could have got to move to another club and his England career and everything. Now he's gone to Saudi. He's chose the money. Shame, shame, but he's a gambler. I suppose he might have a lot of debt or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So but fair play to him. Fair play to him. If you can get 67 million over the next 4 years, I wouldn't mind it.
Yeah, but I just, I don't know, mate. Maybe I'm sort of, maybe I'm not motivated by. Well, I am motivated by money. I think we all are to an extent. But
Yeah,
Jesus, I mean, he wouldn't have been paid poorly as if he'd have gone to, I don't know, just for argument's sake, Chelsea or whatever. He wouldn't have
yeah.
been poorly paid. Let's have it right, and he'd have still been able to play international football. But he's he must have seen Jordan Henderson go to, who was it, Al Ettifaq
Mm.
this time last year, last a couple of months, and then have it on his toes. I mean, he got I think he was getting 600k a week, wasn't he?
Something like that. Yeah, so ridiculous.
So I get it. I mean, it's a huge amount of money, even for a sort of like a Premier League football. It's like, bloody hell, over £500,000 a week. Oh yeah, I'll have some of that. So I get it, but it's like he was playing in front of like 600 people.
I suppose I suppose he must like the weather.
He's in for a shock, mate. It's a little bit warmer than West London, let me tell you.
I know
In
that.
answer to this question, no, we signed anyone yet? I mean, I take it you've heard, James, that we the medical's all done for Carlos Soler.
Yeah.
It's just not been announced, but I think we're pretty much there now, aren't we?
Yeah. I'm a bit mixed on it today. I really am. Like, I see more Prowse leave. I think that one's a bit 50-50 with me. I don't think he was that bad at last year's stats. He was pretty good last year. Do you know what I'm saying, for us? So, bit on the fence. Soler, it's see how we go. Basically, see how we go with him, isn't it?
Do you think? I mean, he's obviously going to score a free kick this season, isn't he? You just know it.
Yeah, it won't be against us.
It
'Cause
won't
he's
be
on
against
loan.
us. Yeah, on loan, it's not going to be against us. That's a good thing. I think I just heard Vicky Gomersall mention West Ham there. I'm not too sure what she was saying there. I'll just I've got the Sky Sports on the other tab, so I'm just keeping an
Yeah.
eye on that. What did you make of Sunderland getting moving on Pierre Ekwa on loan to Saint Etienne? That is a good move for him.
Do you know what? I didn't even know that, mate. If he's gone to France, he must be homesick. It's the only thing you can think of, isn't it? Do you know what I'm saying? If he's gone back to France, but yeah, like, shame, because he was a good talent for them. Do you know what I mean? But I don't know how you found it today in regards of West Ham sort of transfers, because obviously the outgoings really Aguerd.
Yeah.
It looks like he's going to Real Sociedad. You got Zuma's out the door. James Ward-Prowse is gone. There's Maxwell Cornet's gone and all. So
Yeah, is that a loan? 1 year loan, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, as far as that's concerned, I think Cornet, if he stayed, if he went, either way, we're not going to see him, are we? Really? What would he add? Not an awful lot. Again, it's a shame, that one. I mean, same with Cornet. He was a player that when we signed him, I was quite excited. I was
so was I.
yeah. And I still think there's a player there, James. I really do. I just think under Moyes, we were set up in a way that didn't get the best out of him. And obviously, you then get into the new era of Julian Lopetegui, and it's like, I think he's confident. He just wanted to get out, and I don't think anything was going to change it. He might have had half a chance, I guess, but in that pre-season friendly, he made an error that led to a goal, and I think the manager's just gone no, and that was that. His goose was cooked.
Do you think he's quite dangerous from West Ham, though, to let a centre half go and not replace him? Because if we lose a centre half for any reason over a period of time, then we're down to two, basically.
No, because I think you could you could put Souček there if needs be. Not ideal, but you could. You could put Alvarez there if needs be. Not ideal, but you could. If he wanted to play three centre backs, which I know that the coach likes to do from time to time, he could even play Cresswell there in an emergency. And I know these are all I'm saying are not ideal solutions. But what I'm saying is that as a short-term fix, you could do it. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe the manager thinks that we've got bigger fish to fry elsewhere. Hence the signings that he's made have been in the main more offensive, which is great. But we need to have obviously a solid defense. I mean, I think if everybody's fit, James, I think we have got a solid defense. But like you say, it's if we get an injury that puts one of those first line defenders out for any period of time is when you look and go, we might have a problem there.
Yeah, I agree, mate. Especially left back for me. If Emerson
Yes.
goes down, then you're looking at Criswell, and Criswell don't do what Emerson does. If that makes sense. I think with Wan-Bissaka, you got Soufal there.
Bit of breaking news. Sorry to interrupt, James, and this is relevant to us. And this was at 10:05, so literally a couple of minutes ago. And according to the Sky Sports website, Southampton have submitted a deal sheet. This is from Dharmesh Sheth. A deal sheet in order to gain extra time to complete their move for West Ham's Maxwell Cornet. So if submitted between 9 p.m. and 11 p.m., a completed deal sheet provides clubs with an extra 2 hours to conclude proposed moves. Southampton have agreed a loan deal to sign Cornet from the Hammers, and the versatile left-sided player has undergone a medical. So that is breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. There's a deal sheet gone in, according to Dharmesh Sheth, to the Premier League to get dispensation for an extra 2 hours to conclude the deal to get Maxwell Cornet on loan to St Mary's. James, what do you think about that?
Strange, really. I don't know why it's taking so long.
I know they've had all this time.
We can't even get him out the door. It's like he's stuck to the floor at West Ham.
Crazy, isn't it?
I don't know, mate. I don't know. Like, as long as he goes, because I do feel sorry for Maxwell. I'm going to be honest. Yeah. I think he come from Burnley. He was 17.5 million, and I think at the time he was actually really good form for Burnley. Do you know what I mean? When we signed him, but the injury that he got, or the condition that he got, was just like the most unluckiest moment. And that Chelsea game when he scored the goal, which didn't count, I think he's just been very unlucky. And in the end, I think we've aimed higher, as in players. Like when you look at the players that we're going for, like Somerville, Paqueta, Kudus, like they're nowhere near on Maxwell's level. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's a shame, but I think it's good for all parties. I think he needs a fresh new outlook, and you never know. He could rebuild his career at Southampton.
Do you know, it is a shame because I remember talking to Dan from Turf Moorhouse TV, and obviously him being a Burnley fan, he obviously watched Maxwell Cornet up close and personal. And he turned around and said, when he came here, he turned around and said, you got a cracking player there. He said, there is a little bit of a question mark over his robustness, but in terms of his actual abilities on the ball and all the rest of it, what he'll bring to the team, he's tip top. And you know what? I remember the first few games when he played on the left and sort of like was feeding Scamacca. I thought, like the look of this. And then obviously he got the injury, and I don't know. I mean, there was this thing, wasn't he? He went back to France, didn't he, to get some medical treatment. I don't think that went down too well with the former manager of West Ham.
No, it didn't. But it's a shame, really. But then I do look at us, and I think we've gone beyond him. Like, do you know when you sign a player, and like sometimes you get to the threshold that we're at then, and then you look at us now, our threshold's a lot higher, as in talent. Like when you're being linked with the talented players that we've been linked with over this summer, Maxwell Cornet isn't really in that sort of bracket anymore, and he is like a mid-table, bottom end player. I think there's a player still in there if he can get back to fitness, but I think for us, I think we've aimed a bit higher than him, and it's a shame, as I say. Like the only time you're really going to remember Maxwell Cornet is for the goal at Chelsea that never was.
Yeah,
which is a shame, really.
He scored at Bramall Lane as well, didn't he? And I'm pretty sure he actually had a half decent game. I know it was against Sheffield United. Everybody will say, yeah, it was against Sheffield United, Rob. Yeah, I know, but he did have a half decent game. He scored one of the 2 goals that we scored, and he was back on the bench the next game. And I felt a bit sorry for him, to be honest. I really did.
Yeah, especially at that time when we had no Kudus, we had no
Oh, got
Paqueta.
some breaking news here. Hang on, James. Do excuse me. They're going to Carve Solikol, and I think he's outside Stamford Bridge. So what's going on here? Okay, so looks like Sterling is very close. It's not confirmed. Very close to going Chelsea to Arsenal. Would you have fancied him, James?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. I think I tell you what, him going to Arsenal has made them serious contenders now. I don't think he's a bad player.
No.
I think he's got that pace factor about him. For me, Arsenal, I've always said this sort of summer that I think Arsenal are going to fall short this year. I think Man City are a bit up there and a bit too far ahead in regards of like quality in the final third. I think Sterling, if they get the Sterling from City and not the Sterling from Chelsea, and one thing with Arsenal, which they do, and I hate to give them credit, but they do it, if they get players from Chelsea in recent history and turn them into sort of really decent players, like Havertz from Chelsea to Arsenal, had a really good season last year. So if Chelsea get the Sterling that is in there somewhere and he has a point to prove, because I think now he has got a point to prove because he's got a bee in his bonnet now to say, like, well, mate, you tried to force me out. Now I'm going to go and win something somewhere else. So, I think it's a good signing for them. Yeah, it really is.
What do you think also, because we was mentioning earlier before you popped on, James, about this thing about Carney Chukwuemeka. Again, is that a
Yeah.
play you think we need? Personally, I don't.
Nah.
I'm like, not so sure myself. I think Soler, I get it. But Chukwuemeka, I'm not saying he's a bad player, but it's not a move that makes sense to me.
Do you know what, Rob? I would love to know what they're thinking for the centre forward.
Mm.
If I could be a fly on the wall and say, right, what are they thinking on that? Because it seems like we're just bombarding it with wingers and like attacking mids and things like that. The only thing I think it could be is I think Lopetegui might turn to Bowen to go up front. That's the only thing I can think of where he's going to move. If it doesn't work out with Antonio and Fulkrug is a bit up and down, I think they've got the reliability of Bowen up front because it's on the right, and that's why these attacking wingers and these players that are being linked come to West Ham because they're not strikers. Like I think we all both agree that we need a striker at this club, someone who's and when you look at Ings, Antonio. Fulkrug is a 50-50 with me at the minute because I've not seen nothing of him yet, but I'm not saying he ain't going to do it in weeks ahead. But I think with Bowen and trying to fit Kudus into the side where you're going to get the best of Kudus is a problem. I think on the left he's not that guy. On the right he's a completely different player. So do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I understand it, but I don't think we need it. I just don't think we need it all.
Yeah, I think that would be if it happens. And it seems to have gone a little bit quiet because I've not seen anything sort of crop up in the last however long about him. But I mean, again, it was when I heard it, I was like, it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. Why do we need him? But then, like you say, are we then gonna? Is he thinking about putting Bowen up top? But for me, I mean, what do you think? I mean, I personally. I think Bowen's a fantastic player. I love him to bits, and I'm not saying when he has played up front, he's done a bad job, but I don't think that he's quite as effective. I think he loses something when he plays as a striker.
No, mate. I look at it different on that. I look at him when he presses from the front. We're a completely different side. When Bowen's up front, you know he's going to press. Like you just know. Like you just know that he's going to lead that line. And I think the issue with what a lot of people say is you don't get enough touches of the ball in that area. Like he might only get 10 touches in a game. Yeah, so I can understand that. But I feel that with Kudus, he's one of the best dribblers in the Premier League. Like someone who can pick the ball up and run. And if Bowen's an 18-yard box striker, I wouldn't mind Bowen being my 18-yard box striker, someone who can tuck the ball away when the other players do the work and Bowen's basically the final end product sort of thing. Do you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I'm for it because I think he's got the firepower behind him to help him. Whereas last year, it was Bowen, Kudus, and Paqueta, and then there was nothing else. Like, do you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I look at Krug. I'm not on that one, and I think any person that you put up front, i.e., Antonio Krug up front, you're always going to have Kudus on the left. And I just don't think that works, mate. If I'm being honest.
Yeah. I've just had a little bright idea of just putting the latest news on the ticker at the bottom, ladies and gentlemen. So just that one there. Everton's Holgate is expected to go to West Brom. A half decent player, but he's probably one of them players that's like bottom end Premier League, top level Championship. So probably sort of going from Everton to West Brom. That's probably about his level, to be honest. What's been the sort of like as far as the sort of like the moves that have been made so far? Which one's the one you're, from West Ham's point of view, the one you're most excited about?
Wan-Bissaka, mate. I think that's a great signing, Rob. Like, I'm going to be honest. £15 million, 7-year deal for a Premier League player who, when you look at him, you don't see £15 million. Like, I look at Aaron Wan-Bissaka. He's going to play consistently well for West Ham now over the coming years. Like, I think you're looking easily double that, and we've got him for 15 million, if not less than that. I think with the payoff and everything else. So I think that's the bargain of the summer for us. Like, I really do. I like Somerville. I like Somerville. I think Somerville is a good up and coming prospect. Kilman has surprised me. I'm going to be honest. 40 million. I thought, cool, that's a lot of dough for a Wolves player, and maybe I was a bit arrogant to that. But he's coming into his own. The one surprise with me is that Rodriguez, he's come in and he seems like he just needs a bit more time. But I think he's going to be for a free transfer, and this was a free transfer that come literally completely out of nowhere. All of a sudden, like, we're looking at midfielders like Kante and all that, and the next thing you know, Rodriguez arrives on a free transfer, and people have to see where he played and who he played for previous. So I like the business that we've done. I do think there is still, like, I think left back is an issue at West Ham. I think you take Emerson out and we're not the same team. And I don't think we've resolved the striker situation. Like the whole summer, and you've done your videos, I've done mine on E20. Duran, and then all of a sudden you just completely change tack from Duran to someone else. I feel like West Ham didn't get it right on that one. Like, obviously, Krug come in, and we don't know what it's going to be like. But I think when you're chasing someone down for so long and you let it go, you've got to get the signing in who's going to be like the man, basically, to kick into gear. And I don't think Krug has as yet, in my opinion.
Yeah. Do you think he will? Or is it one of those where you're like, it's on a knife edge?
Yeah, I honestly don't know. I've not seen anything of any note of him to say, yep, he looks really good, right? But I don't think he's not a mug. Like, do you know what I mean? I think he knows what he's doing. I think he needs the support line. I just think West Ham are just slightly unbalanced. And I think you have to take one player out, put another player there, and just tweak it a bit, and then it's a completely different side. He proved it on Wednesday night against Bournemouth. We was not all that, and then Krug goes off, Bowen goes up front, Kudus goes on the right, and all of a sudden we make it in chances, and then we score. So I think it's a work in progress with Lopetegui. I'm a bit puzzled why he keeps putting Souček as a 10, because I can't work that one out, but that's another story for another time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Just reading this bit here about Ivan Toney. So apparently Brentford are sitting there waiting on the end of a phone or whatever, waiting for the confirmation that he's gone to Al Ahly in the Saudi Pro League because he's £40 million move. But apparently the Saudi Pro League's window closes on Monday. So it's not, if he's not done by 11 p.m. here tonight, it doesn't actually mean that he's not moving. He could still go anytime up to Monday.
Yeah.
Jolly good. Nice if you can get it, eh, James? Do you reckon you could survive on 600k a week?
I don't know, it'd be a push, mate, wouldn't
Yeah,
it?
what would you do with that money? I mean, sort of like, oh dear, do we get caviar this week, dear? Do we get quail's eggs? What do you fancy?
Tell you what, it's mind blowing, isn't it? Like when you think about it, like people in a cost of living crisis, and then you got a geezer getting 600 grand a week. It's just
Mental.
mad. Like, do you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong.
Oh,
I've always liked Tony, but 600 grand a
oh,
week.
right. Now this is relevant for West Ham, ladies and gentlemen. 10:21, which I think you'll find is right now. Latest from Darmesh Sheth. Real Sociedad are finalising a deal to sign West Ham defender Nayef Aguirre. Aguirre will move to the La Liga side on a season-long loan, with all parties confident of beating the deadline. So that is as breaking news can get. It looks like Aguirre is pretty much done.
Yeah,
So
shame with him, mate. I'm gonna be honest.
yeah,
I'm actually gutted to a point because I've always thought he could be a really top player. I remember a performance against Newcastle a few years ago when he done that recovery tackle.
I was
Newcastle were
there.
in, and he was like, it's one of the best recovery tackles I've seen. For a long, long time.
Oh,
And
stunning.
and I look at him now and I think, yeah, he needs to go. It's the right thing to do. Don't get me wrong. I am a little bit suspect on. Excuse me. I'm a little bit suspect on the replacement. That's the only thing. I think if
What,
one of our,
Tony?
I think he'd be all right. But I do think like if we get a couple of injuries at centre half, and
Yeah.
that's one thing with us, we do love an injury at centre half at times. Then it's like square pegs and round holes again, isn't it? So
Yeah.
maybe I look at it like Chalabar's been sitting there for ages, and I'm thinking, why is no one going for Chalabar? I don't like. Hopefully, otherwise he's traded with the youth for the next 6 months.
Would you have gone for him?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Like I feel sorry for him. Like, the situation at Chelsea is so weird, Rob. I
Yeah.
don't know. Like they've just got rid of Sterling and they're bringing in Sancho. It's like I don't know what it is. Right? Maybe I think out loud, but it's like they're building the squad up, and then they know that they're going to get a transfer ban of 2 years. That's how it feels. Like it
Yeah.
feels like they're really building it up. They've got Sancho. They've got all these young players, and then I think they know they're going to get a big fine or a transfer embargo or something like that. And then before you know where you are, right, they might not be able to sign no players for 2 years. So
Mm.
in one way, it works for them long term, sort of thing. But it's just weird.
Yeah.
It's just weird.
Bit of a strange one, but I do wonder whether you. I mean, I hadn't actually stopped to think about that, but you mentioning about whether they know they're gonna get sort of done.
Yeah,
I've not even considered that, and until you've said it, and I'm like, wow, actually, that
that's how it
would make sense.
that's how it feels, mate. It just feels like if you look at all the signings, they're all young signings, right? They're all signings that basically are going to progress over years, sort of
Mm.
thing, like Neto, Sancho. It's like a fucking all stars team. Do you know what I
They're
mean?
loading up,
They're
carb
loaded,
loading.
yeah. And like the Sterling one, yeah, he's on a lot of money. He's on 350 grand a week, and to get him out the door and bring Sancho in, fair enough. It is what it is. But yeah, I just think it's like I think they know they're going to get done eventually, and I think they're preparing themselves for that. If I'm being honest.
Mm. Makes you wonder why Man City aren't sort of loading up as well, because of not being funny. It's like, well,
Yeah,
if Chelsea are going to get in the shit, then Man City are, well, they're in an awful lot more than they ever are.
yeah, yeah.
Crazy, but there you go. What's the away from West Ham? What's the signing that, as just a football fan, what's the signing that you look at and go, "Ooh, yes, that's a player I'm looking forward to seeing play Premier League football."
Um. Oh, don't know. Really. Um. I'll tell you, I do like. He's not a big name,
Mhm.
right? But Greaves at Ipswich. He was a
Okay.
player that he was a player West Ham were in for.
Mm.
No one's took the risk on him. Ipswich have. I think if Ipswich go down, he will go to a bigger club within a year. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Or if Ipswich stay up, I don't think Greaves will be there for 2 or 3 years. I think he'll be gone. I like the look of him. I do like what Ipswich are doing in regards to their signings, and like they've signed another lad, Hutchinson. I think it is ex Chelsea.
Yep.
Looks pretty decent. Um, After that, Rob, it's very mixed because like Liverpool haven't done nothing. Like Chiesa, right? Or
Yeah.
Chiesa. I think if you keep him fit, great player. Like £10 million is like a bargain, right, for a player of his quality. But he's had 2 ACLs in 2 years, I think it is, or something like
Yeah.
that.
Bit of a risk.
So yeah, it's a bit of a risk on that one. I like our business to a point. I think Kilman has been a really good signing. It's going to be interesting to see how Ward-Prowse does at Forest, whether it's going to be the right move or not. But I think Brighton have done some good business. They signed that winger from Newcastle, like 35 million or something. He's absolutely rapid and like 19 or 20 years old. And Brighton have gone and got him. Matt O'Reilly, who just got injured, which is a shame. I
That
think
was a
he's a good.
terrible challenge, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, mate. It was, and I feel for him because I think he's a very, very good player. I think Brighton have done some good business there. Spent nearly 200 million. 200 million Brighton and Hove Albion. Mad.
Crazy, crazy. The sums of money are absolutely just ridiculous. Like I say, the 600k that Tony's going to be taking. Like I say, I know that he would have been wealthy wherever he'd have gone. And look, let's be real, right? Any one of us, anyone watching this at any point, you, me, whatever, and even if we are in a job that we're like, no, I love my job, this, that, and the other. Let's be honest about it. If someone offered you the same job you were doing now, but offered to, double, treble, quadruple your wages, you're gone. You are gone
Yeah.
with the best will in the world.
It's a-
600k. I mean, he's 28, isn't he, as well? So I guess he's probably sort of thought, if I don't take this now, this deal might not be, because if let's say he'd have gone to summer next year, let's just say he'd wound his contract down at Brentford and he'd have been available next year, and let's also suppose he maybe at that point went to another Premier League club, signed a 3-4 year deal, whatever, by which time he's 29. When he signs the deal, he's then, so if he signs a 4-year deal, he's 33. Is he going to be able to command 600k a week from the Saudi Pro League at 33?
No,
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Or maybe he's looked at it and thought, fuck it, I've got to take this now. Otherwise, it's just not going to come round again like this.
I've got a feeling it wouldn't surprise me is if he asked the England sort of setup whether he's going to be in their plans going forward, or are England going in a different direction under Carsley? And that's one of the reasons why he's gone there. Because I think if you've got an England career, Rob, would you really want to give it away to go
Was he in the
abroad?
latest squad, James? I haven't even seen it.
I don't think he was. Right.
No.
And I think that maybe he sat down with his sort of representatives and everything and turned around and said, am I going to be like in the England fold moving forward, or are they moving in another direction? And maybe they turned around and said, well, we're going to look at other players and etc. And maybe he's thought, right, the England career's not there. I've had a good run at it. I'm going to go and earn some money now and basically set my family up for life and their lives. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Do you think it'll be another Jordan Henderson though? Do you reckon he'll be out there for a bit and he'll go, this ain't a bit of me?
Yeah. I reckon he's 28. I reckon by the time he's 31, he'll be back in, or if not 30, he'll be back in the UK.
I'm wondering if it's going to come sooner because, as I say, Jordan Henderson lasted 4 months.
Yeah, I think when you're going out there, it's like, how can I put it? The money's all well and good, but when you're playing in front of no one, and it's just there's no atmosphere, there's nothing there, there's no buzz. I think look at it and go, yeah, this ain't a bit of me. I need to get back. And do you know what? I'm gonna say this. It would not surprise me in the slightest if West Ham tried to sign him coming back from Saudi.
I knew you were going to say that.
It just wouldn't surprise me, Rob. It literally wouldn't. Like, because if he's over there for a couple of years and he fancies a trip back, it's a London-based club.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Arsenal didn't go in for him. Like,
I
as a
am as
centre forward.
well.
Do you know what I mean? Arsenal, if they take out Eddie Nketiah and then put in Ivan Toney, I would have thought that would have been a bit of an upgrade. But yeah, it wouldn't surprise me when they got him Saudi, mate. I'm not gonna lie. That's a son of a move, isn't it? You know what I mean,
We'd finally get him. We'd finally get him, but he's probably at that point he's on the slide.
yeah,
Probably still be a tidy player.
yeah. Because what it is, he doesn't really do. He's not really eccentric. Like he's a sort of he's a target man, sort of hold up merchant, but he's got the all round game, so to speak. So he's never really. He don't really get injured either, Tony, to a point. So like he's pretty fit geezer. So yeah, it's going to be
Wolves
interesting
have
to
just
see.
completed a signing.
Yeah, I know. He was
Fluminense.
crying, the poor sod, wasn't he? He was crying to who was he crying to? He was in the club he was at, sort of boardroom, and he was in tears because he's leaving them and all that. And I was thinking, bloody hell, but you go to the Premier League, Wolverhampton Wanderers, embrace it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's another one here as well. It's literally just come through. Just add it to this banner. Palace midfielder Ahamada Ren. Hang on. Ren signed Palace midfielder Ahamada. Ren signed French midfielder Naihu Ahamada on loan from Palace. Yeah, I literally just copied and pasted that. If anyone thinks that's my bad sort of grammar or anything, I've literally just gone copy paste. I'm not sitting here typing these all out. I ain't got bloody time. So but yeah, I'm just. Come on, there's got to be something that pops through with West Ham on it. I mean, like I say, we think that there's going to be a deal sheet that's put through to the Premier League to give Southampton and West Ham an extra 2 hours beyond the official end of the transfer window to get that deal done. And like I say, I just sort of sit there and go, you've had all bloody window, the pair of you, to get this sorted out.
If Soler's the last one, and we do, obviously, Guedes goes, Cornet goes, all the other lads go. How would you judge this window, Rob, for you?
I think the piece of the jigsaw that's missing, mate, for me, I'd have actually been cool with maybe 1 or 2 less signings if we'd have signed a proper striker, striker.
Yeah,
If I'd have said, right, if we could have got Kilman, Wan-Bissaka, Todibo, Somerville, and John Duran, and that was it, I'd have been like, yeah, wow.
Yeah.
I think that would have been perfectly sufficient. Now, I'm not saying that the guys I've not mentioned, the Rodriguez's and the Fulkrugs and whoever else I omitted from that list. I'm not saying that they're not good players. I'm not saying they won't bring something to the party. But I like I say, I just remember doing an interview with Tony Cottee, and it was the season that we got promoted to the not promoted. It was the season we won the Conference League, but it was before we won the Conference League, right? And I don't know if you remember that summer transfer window. There was quite a bit of business that was done, and Tony Cottee wasn't particularly in love with that strategy because he said that sort of lots of players out, lots of players in, a lot of people getting to know each other and all of the rest of it, the dynamic changing in the dressing room. Sometimes it's not good to do so much business. And that's kind of the thing that we've done 8 signings up to this point. Carlos Soler, if it comes to pass, which we believe it is virtually done, would become 9, and that's a lot. That's a lot of new people that and let's be honest, right? To them it's a place of work. Now, have you and this is at the guys at the live chat, right? So if any of you guys want to jump in as well, please do. Do you get on with everybody that you work with? Have you the job that you've had? Has everybody been friendly? It's all been harmonious. You've all gone round each other's house, or have you occasionally had someone you work with that you think's a complete tool?
Yeah, yeah. Happens every form
Of course it does.
of job, whether you're a footballer or you work in a supermarket. There's always someone who's like wants to be the village idiot, and
Yeah.
the absolute plum of it.
Yeah.
I agree with you 100%. I think 9 is a lot.
Hmm.
The Lewis Guilherme one, I look at it
Oh
now and
yeah, that was weird.
I look at it now and I think, why pay that money for him?
Hmm.
Like if you're going to pay 25 million pounds out for Lewis Guilherme, then why are you not going out and paying the money and trying to get Duran there? Like obviously, I know Villa were playing hardball, Rob, and I can understand what West Ham done. Right, my attitude to West Ham was they tried their best, but Villa was taking the piss in the end and saying, right, what we're going to do is we want to sell on clause and all.
Hmm.
Now there has to be a line in the sand where you go, right, I can't go over this line now because now they're literally
They're
it's not
pulling my
worth
trousers down.
it's not worth it. So when you break it down, like Wes Thorrington, free transfer, fair enough. Lewis
Yep.
Guilherme, don't get that one. I don't. I look at it now and I think, did we really need a young up and coming whippersnapper, or could we have gone and got a left back or a centre half who's up and coming and basically nullified that position down for the next
Hmm.
5 years? Then you sort of look at Krug. I think that's a panic buy, in my opinion. I think when they didn't get Duran, they had the Krug one there, and they went, right, we're going to go and get him.
Do you think that they approached Dortmund thinking that might shock Villa into
Yeah,
maybe doing a deal, and that when it was a game of chicken, that kind of we got to a point where we've sort of gone, oh shit, I think we're probably committed now. I think we're probably going to have to sign this bloke.
yeah, that's what I think it was. I think they tried with Duran so long, and they was waiting to see if Villa would buckle. And I was saying this on Twitter Spaces, and some of the lads were saying, no, I don't believe it. And I said that Villa hold all the cards with the Durant situation. They've got him on a long term deal. They have not got to sell him for anything if they don't think he's like they want the exact money. Do you know what I'm saying? And they ain't going to do us no favors to a point. So the Krug one, I think, is a bit of a panic one. I think the Rodriguez one's a good signing. I think for a free transfer, getting him for peanuts to a point, I think it's a really good signing. Wan-Bissaka's great. Somerville, if you're going for Lewis Guilherme and then you're going for Somerville, like I don't, fair enough, but Somerville's a good sign. Kilman, I think we paid a little bit over the top, but I think it's worth it. I think Tadibo is an excellent all-round package. Like you got a loan with an obligation to buy. So basically, we pay the money next summer, which gives us time to sort of get these players out the door, let them all go and loan and everything. So I think the transfer window's been okay, but there is too many in there. But the key one that I think if you had 1,000 West Ham fans in front of you,
Yeah.
and you said, right, what is the one area of the pitch that you really thought we needed work on straight away? They would have all said centre forward. They would have all
Yeah.
said, right,
We've said it
Antonio
for
out.
years, James. You
Yeah,
and I
but
have had many conversations about this.
yeah, but it just seems like they just can't get that man for some reason, and I don't understand why. And I would have thought with Steiden, I would have thought when he come in, that would have been the conversation. The first conversation would have been, I need you to go out and find us a centre forward to replace Mikel Antonio. I don't think Nicholas Fulkrug was on the
Yeah.
list at the time. Do you know what I'm
What do you
saying?
think about Guilherme and Fulkrug? If we're sort of like just going to sort of like highlight those, which you have obviously, and I fully agree with what you've said, by the way, that's 47 million quid that you could have put to. So I think we'd already slapped, correct me if I'm wrong, about 37 million on the table for Duran,
Yeah,
and that apparently wasn't enough. So,
they
and
they wanted
they wanted 40.
yeah, what it was, they wanted 40 plus add-ons, which took it up
Okay.
to
But
about
if we'd have
40.
not spunked 47 million pounds up the wall on Guilherme, who may come good,
Mm,
and a 31-year-old Fulkrug, 47
mm.
million pound between the two of them. and we'd diverted some of that £47 million towards topping up the 37 that we'd offered for Duran, that deal gets done.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think what it is, Rob, I think it's more that if you're chasing a player, just for argument's sake, you're the West Ham scout and you're looking at a player and you're saying, right, this guy is the man we want, and you chase him down all summer, then all of a sudden you just pull away completely. It's like they put all their eggs in one basket and thought, right, we're going to go for Duran, we're going to try and get Duran out of there for nothing or as good as. And where Villa sort of said, right, we want add-ons, and I think what it was with Villa was a sell-on clause. That was the thing that was irritating a lot of West Ham fans, because if he goes for say 60 million, right, we've got to give them 20% of that. And it's just like basically what we're doing. We're earning money for Villa when, and we're taking all the risks.
They're getting money both ends of the deal, aren't they? They're getting money when we sort of like when we buy him, and then when we sell him, they're getting money again. Brilliant.
Yeah. So it's like basically we're taking all the risks and they're getting all the profits because of it. And I could understand West Ham walking away. Don't get me wrong, but I just the striker front irritates me because I look at it still to this day, right? We haven't got a striker under 30 there. You know what I'm saying? It's just mad. So
brilliant. I don't know. Did you see that one about I put up earlier about Zaha going to Lyon on loan?
Yeah. Yeah,
he
was
again
with us,
wasn't he? Very, 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 very tentatively, but
yeah.
Do you think he'd have offered anything? I know he's 31 now.
Nah, I think.
Oh, hang on, sorry. It's Soler. Ramesh Chef's just saying. Hang on, just listening to what he says because I literally just heard Soler mention. I thought, oh shit. So. He reckons that is happening. It's not done, but Dharmesh Chef has just said that it's going. His understanding is that Carlos Soler will happen. Not announced yet. I'm not saying it's done, but if Dharmesh Chef says that he reckons that he's being told this will be done, then I think you can have it as read that he's as close as he can to being a West Ham player prior to it actually happening. So, what do you think, James? Do you think, and this is my theory, and I'd like to get your thoughts because we've not discussed my theory on this one. Do you think Carlos Soler is being brought in to kind of at the moment he will essentially be the player that is rotated? Paquetá will be the number one, if you will, playmaker. But Soler will be his backup and someone that will get a decent amount of minutes. Okay. But I suspect Paquetá goes this time next year. Soler then steps into his role as the playmaker. But Erky comes back. And then over the subsequent year or so, there's then a changing of that particular dynamic, and Earthy then steps into that role as the playmaker. Can you see that being the way it unfolds? It's a bit of progression planning.
Yeah, with Earthy, I don't know. It all depends how he does with Bristol City. Yeah, I think that will tell us a lot this season with both him and Freddie Potts going to both championship clubs. So I think with Earthy, that time will tell. With Soler, I think he comes in to replace Paqueta if Paqueta gets banned. That's what I think. I think with the gambling thing over West Ham's head. And one thing I will say with West Ham currently right now, you take Paqueta out, we haven't got no creativity whatsoever. Like we haven't got someone who can pick the ball up and lay a pass in and do that sort of stuff. We've got enforcers like Alvarez, and you got like people who throw the body in the line like Souček and things like that. But we haven't got a creative player. So
yeah,
I think with Lucas Paqueta, I think you take him out, you bring Soler in. It's going to be interesting to see how Soler copes in the Premier League because obviously he was at Valencia. He's very good. PSG, he's been a bit up and down. I think he comes in and he's the backup for Quetta. I think Rodriguez is the backup for Alvarez. So like you got backup. The Souček one, just to go a bit off topic, is I don't know who's there for him. That's the only thing I can't work out with him is where who's there for him, and that's
I think he's
why.
just a unique player, and I'm not trying to be demeaning or anything. I just think that
I
he's
agree.
got a skill set. I think that the only player I can think that's even vaguely similar to Thomas Souček in what he offers that I've seen like him in the last 10 years, Marouane Fellaini.
Yeah, there's no one else. And the thing is, I don't think Soler and Paqueta will play together. It'd be very good if it did. Like, imagine if you had Soler, Paqueta, and Alvarez as a three-man midfield. It's pretty tidy, but I don't know.
Do you think it's too lightweight?
I think so. Yeah. I think against the Leicester teams, and I said this to. Funny enough, I done a video earlier on. An Irish Tommy said, "Well, James, you can't have two DMs now because like if we're playing against lesser teams, we need to be more attacking." And I get that, but the little voice in my head says this is West Ham, and we're not. Sometimes we need a bit more strength in midfield rather than thinking like one man could do the job. Now, if that one man was the X41 who used to play for West Ham, I would agree. I'd say, you know what? Yeah, we can do this because I know we've got a proper solid DM there who can cover the ground. I love Alvarez, but I don't think he can do it on his own. That's the only thing I will say. I think I love what he does. I love how he breaks play up, tackles everything. But I do think he needs a little bit of help next to him from time to time. And that's where, yeah, I think Souček. I don't know what your thoughts are on Souček, Rob, but I see a lot of people. He's like Marmite at the minute. You either love him or they despise him, and there's no middle.
Oh, I can't despise the guy. Jesus Christ, no, that's too much. I mean, look, does he have his limitations? Yes,
Yeah,
100%.
agree.
Right? Is he going to spray the ball around like prime Andrea Pirlo? No. Has he got the sort of like the mobility of a Steven Gerrard or anyone like? No, that's not his game. But what you get out of him is he will work like no player that we've had for a long time. The work rate he puts in, even if he's having a bad game, and I think that is one thing. All this stuff about what is the West Ham way. I could probably sit here and talk for quite some time about my thoughts on that. But one of the things that I think is something about the West Ham way is that I think we as a fan base, we know that there are players that will maybe having a bad game, yeah, but we will always appreciate, okay, he's not having a good game, but do you know what? I can see he's bloody trying his heart out. Whatever he sort of like lacks in technical ability, he makes up for in endeavoring, hard work, grit, determination, those sort of things. And I think if you display that, I think as West Ham fans, I think we will kind of forgive you to a point for some of your limitations like that.
Yeah, I agree. Like when you look at him, if you was to go and ask a West Ham fan and say, right, describe your player that you want to represent your club, it'd be someone like a Julian Dix, a Thomas Souček,
Billy Bonds.
Billy Bonds, yeah, and them sort of people who they're not technically the best, but their heart and the desire and their effort all make up in abundance. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
With Souček, I think Lopetegui likes him. Right,
Yes.
I really do. I don't know why, but I think Lopetegui thinks, you know what, I could use this geezer in situations. And I think some people thought that Souček was going to go this summer.
I'll be honest.
Yeah. And I'm quite shocked that it was Ward-Prowse in the end. Because when you look at both players and you look at Lopetegui as the manager, I would have thought Ward-Prowse would have been more technical than Souček.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? But
the thing is, I'll be honest, I had a few people that turned around to me before I even saw West Ham kick a ball under the new manager. And people turned around to me and said, this is not the second coming of Pep Guardiola, you understand? And I was like, go on, tell me more. And they said it will be more possession, very, very likely. But don't expect it to be free-flowing, cavalier, attacking football, pretty little triangles, this, that, and the other. That's not his bag. It's just not. He will be quite pragmatic. He's a very, very good coach. Everybody said, look, we're not sort of doing down his coaching abilities. You don't get to coach Real Madrid. You don't get to coach the Spanish national team. You don't get to win Europa Leagues with Sevilla if you haven't got something about you. And I completely get that. But I've had a few people that have watched his teams very intently over the years that have said to me, like I say, if you're expecting Pep Guardiola style Man City type football, not happening.
Yeah, yeah. I had the same thing. Honestly, and I actually believe this is my little mad theory for this Friday night.
Go for it, mate. I love them.
I actually believe West Ham are building this side to hand it over to someone else. I really do.
Who's your
I think
thought?
West Ham. I don't know, Rob. I don't know, but it just feels like it feels like Lopetegui's running the show for now. They're going to see how he goes.
Yep.
But I think in 2 years' time, they're gearing up for someone else to come in. Now, I'm going to say it out loud.
I know what you're going to say. I'm thinking it.
Alma in 2 years. If there was a conversation to say, you know what, it wouldn't surprise me with Sullivan if they turned around and said, right, we will build the side up so it's at standard where you can work with, because these are all technically good players now that we're getting. Paqueta, Soler, Rodriguez in there, Alvarez in there. They've all been like branded as technically very good players. Like Ajax with Alvarez and obviously Paqueta with Brazil and everything. It would not surprise me if they hand it over in 2 years to someone else who can take us, who will have the team ready made to go in to then fire up the league, so to speak. And that's what I don't know. I thought I've been thinking about it for the last few weeks, and I thought with the signings that we've got, like Luis Guilherme coming in, and like all these sort of long-term investments, yeah. Because with me, I think, what do you do this time next year with Lopetegui? If Lopetegui finishes his 10th, what do you do? Do you let him run his contract down and then see what happens, or do you sort of give him another 2 years? Like, can you see what I'm saying?
Well, he's only got 2 years this time, isn't he? So
yeah,
and I think there's an option for third year, but I think that's hinging on
Europe.
league positions, qualification for Europe, blah blah blah, isn't it?
Yeah, he has to get Europe to get the third year. So basically, in a year's time, if West Ham, just for argument's sake, West Ham finish 10th in the league, will West Ham look at it and go, right, we're going to let this geezer run his contract down, and then we're going to go out and get the next man who, well, let's be honest, if we do keep our players, because I think Bowen's here long term, I think some of these players won't be here in 2 years, don't get me wrong, but I think Bowen will be. And if West Ham can keep building this side up, eventually, I don't know, I just feel they're going to hand it over to someone else, mate, if I'm honest.
Do you know what I was thinking you were going to say?
Who's that?
Noble.
Do you know what? He's one man I trust with West Ham. Like, he's one man. I think if you would, I trust Mark a lot because I think he understands what it is to the average fan. Like, do you know what I'm saying? But I think him as a manager, or him handing it over to him, I don't know, mate. I think your love for him can go firmly out the window pretty fast if it goes wrong. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
I think that's the reason Trevor Brooking never took it on. I think Trevor Brooking kind of understood that, I'll do it on an interim basis, and he did it twice, and he did it very well both occasions. But I think he kind of thought, I've got a lot of love and affection that these people have for me. Unfortunately, if it goes badly wrong, that becomes a little bit tainted.
Yeah. I wouldn't want that on Mark. I really wouldn't. No. I think what Mark's doing behind the scenes with the youth, I think it's fantastic. I think the youth setup is very, very good. I'm loving the how can I word this? Like the morals and the respect and basically what it means to play for West Ham again. Because there was times many, many years ago where West Ham was a bit of a shambles. Do you know what I mean? Like, and we
not about many years ago, James. It weren't that long ago.
In recent history. But I think what he's done in regards of the youth set up, bringing people like Orford through, Potts through, I think we've got a lot of positives from him being in and around that youth setup. 'Cause I think when you've got Mark Noble there, you've got a man that everyone can look up to. No one can like look at him and go, "Oh no!" He's going to gain respect straight away. And I think every youth player looks at him and thinks, "I can be like him because he's done it. He's made a career out of it." And do you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I just feel with Lopetegui, I feel this is like a you're loading up for something else. Like 'cause I think the players that are coming in and some really good deals, by the way. Do you know what I mean? Ain't like they're like short term fixes, like Tadibo at like for a 5 year deal with an obligation next year to buy him. I think that's just this is a long term project, and I don't think Lopetegui is going to be the long term manager for it. If I'm honest.
No, to be honest, that was kind of what I thought when I saw it was a 2-year deal with an
Yeah.
option for a third. I did sit there and go, "That's a bit light." Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? And I'm actually really shocked that he actually accepted it. Because I'd have thought someone that's managed some of the clubs that he's done around sort of Spain and whatever would have probably gone 2 years. You do know I've won a European trophy. You do know I've managed Real Madrid and the Spain national team, don't you? 2 years. Are you sure? I'm really
I think
shocked he signed it.
I think what it is, I think it works well for both parties. I think with Lopetegui, his reputation was down the pan with Wolves because the way he walked out and left them in it, like left them in the shit sort of thing, and then Gary O'Neill comes in and does well for them. So I think Lopetegui's sort of reputation was a bit in turmoil there. I think with us, we needed a fresh outlook. Now, for argument's sake, if you're playing a style of play that the next manager that they've got their eye on, because they must like with a 2 year deal, and we don't know what's going to happen in the next 2 years. It's either going to be very good or it's going to be like the old West Ham of being sort of mid-table, like 10th at best, sort of thing. Yeah. Obviously, I want us to be competing for Europe, but then you've got to be real. Like you just don't know. But if he goes and does 18 months and he does very well, then so be it.
That's my little brother there. What do you mean I've only been once? I've been twice, you little git. Twice. And both times I was with you. And I seem to remember I paid for your lunch as well. Yeah. There you go. You forgot that, didn't you? And I'm surprised it's not past your bedtime. I'm surprised you're up at this time of night. Yeah. Get back in your box. There you go. That's him dealt with. He'll probably chirp up again in a minute. He'll give me some load of insults. Yeah, there you go. So that's it. Go on, back to bed. Go on, get your mug of Horlicks and go and do something less interesting. So oh, hello. What we got here? Just as have just been insulting my younger brother. And it's my job, James. That's what I'm here to do. I've got to crack the whip and let these young whippersnappers know who's boss. Yeah. There's just a little one just about there you go on the ticker at the bottom. Little bit of breaking news to do with Fulham and Reece Nelson. Would you again? He's a player that's been linked with us here and there. I even heard a rumor earlier on today that he was linked with us. Again, is that a player that you might have sort of been quite interested to see? Personally, again, I think him as a player, decent in terms of the position that he's occupies and how well stocked we are in that department. Again, don't think we'd have needed him.
No, I don't think so, mate. I actually do think Ipswich are going to have quite a good season. I think they've signed some really good young players, and with the manager that they got, I'm pretty certain Ipswich will stay up this year. I don't think Ipswich are going down. Yeah, I'm so sure on it, Rob. I look at their team. They've got some really good players in areas, and I look at if you used to sort of look at the bottom six down, I think McKenna's the best manager out of all of them. I do. I think he got touted for Man United, touted for Chelsea. I think he knows how to win. I think also having Manchester City and Liverpool first 2 games of the season has done him a favour because now they've got them 2 hard games out the way. Now they can sort of really kick into gear. So Yeah, I do, mate. I think the signing of Greaves, like I said to you earlier, like I think at centre half's a very good signing. Like, and they've took the risk on him. If they get Reece Nelson, he's a good player, mate. He could do a job for them. And obviously, also Ben's there, so it's going to be interesting to see how Ben Johnson gets on up at Ipswich. And
I
they've
think
got a
you're talking about my
really
younger brother Ben.
shout out to Ben. But they've also got Leif Davis up there, who's a very
Yeah.
good player on the other side. So yeah, mate, I honestly do. I think they will stay up 100%.
Okay, they've had a tough introduction to Premier League football, and I probably should say, and it is on the ticker at the bottom, the window is shut. Done. But as it says on the ticker there, and we mentioned it earlier, the clubs do, despite the fact they've had 6 weeks to get their business done, there is a little workaround where if they submit a deal sheet between 9 and 11 p.m. on the day of the transfer window being closed, then there is the scope for them to get an additional 2 hours to complete the deal. So, in essence, the transfer window shuts really at 1 a.m. tomorrow.
Yeah.
Strange. Do you think that's really sort of crap sort of planning that if you've had 6 weeks to sort transfers out and then you need an extra 2 hours, do you think that's poor planning? I do.
Bit. It is a little bit, yeah. Because like, but then saying that what it is clubs also, don't they, Rob? Some of them think, oh, you know what, we won't get rid of him, and then a better offer comes up. Look at Sterling tonight, for instance. Like Chelsea go and get rid of Sterling, bring in Sancho. It's like it's just a merry-go-round, isn't it? But yeah, like for me, I always believe the transfer window should shut before the season starts, and not 2 or 3 games into the season, because players' heads might be somewhere else. And like look at the other day, 2 days ago, James Ward-Prowse was playing for us, and now he's playing for Forest. So I think it should be done beforehand, and then when the season starts, that's it. Like, and there's no distractions. But yeah, transfer windows always the same, mate. Always the same.
Just have a little one that's come in now. I'm just going to get that on the ticker at the bottom. West Ham related, so it's nothing to be too excited about, I guess. But League One Birmingham was smashing their record fee, apparently.
£10 million.
12 million pounds. And that's, I mean, when you stop and think about it, James, you got a tier 3 club paying over 12 million quid. I mean, that's like bloody hell.
Yeah, the player they're signing is Jay Stansfield, and it used to be his dad used to be called Adam Stansfield. I think he died of cancer, and he's like when he was a footballer. But obviously Jay was
The name
born.
rings a bell, yeah.
Yeah, if you Google Adam Stansfield, you see it, and very good striker back in the day. Like I remember him growing up. Yeah.
Oh, now this is West Ham related. So let me just copy and paste that. And that is confirming James Ward-Prowse has joined Nottingham Forest on a season-long loan deal from our very own West Ham. So that is it confirmed. We suspected it. We knew that he'd completed his medical. We knew he was up at the City ground. It hadn't been confirmed until just now at 3 minutes past 11. I know that is technically past the deadline, but they've announced it now. It is done. James Ward-Prowse, if he gets a free kick in the next in this coming season for Nottingham Forest, he will break David Beckham's record. I say break. Is he one behind or is he dead level with Beckham? I can never remember.
I think he's level.
Yeah,
he's level with him.
So if he gets a free kick goal, then he breaks the record, and he'll do it technically as a West Ham player, but not wearing West Ham shirt if it's within the next 12 months. Luckily, he won't be able to do it against us, ladies and gentlemen. That's the good thing, because it's loan. He can't play against us. But that would be typical, wouldn't it, James?
Yeah. How will you summarise his time at West Ham?
Mixed, I think, is the word I would look for. I think part of it was, I think the start was very good. I'll be perfectly honest. I think he came in, I thought he did really well. Obviously, he got a goal at Tottenham, which helps. But I think as the season went on, I think I remember when we signed him. I've got a friend at work, and he's a huge Southampton fan, is Steve, and season ticket holder, all the rest of it. And obviously, they went down the season before last, and he knew that he had to move on. Premier League sort of football was must for him, and for his England aspirations, he had to do it. And my mate Steve was perfectly comfortable with that. And he turned around and he said, he's a fantastic player, but, and there was a but, he turned around and said that the reason why he has never cracked it for England consistently is that he doesn't quite have the dynamism, the mobility of the players that he's up against in that particular realm. And I think that during the course of last season, as it wore on, I'm watching him and I'm like, I can see it now.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't see it before, but I'm now looking out for it and I can see it now. And I think that's the thing. I think that the way that Lopetegui's going to set up, I think that there's probably room for one midfielder who maybe doesn't have mobility as part of their weaponry, doesn't have that sort of craft as part of their weaponry. And it was I think it was either Thomas Souček or it's James Ward-Prowse. I think one of them had to go. One of them had to go, and the other one we could probably absorb. And it's turned out that it's Souček that's the beneficiary of staying at the club, and James Ward-Prowse is leaving on loan, and it's a shame. I think he comes across as a really nice guy. He comes across as a very good, dedicated professional, but he's a piece of the jigsaw that I think certainly for the next 12 months just won't fit in the J-Lo plan. I wish him the best of luck.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Like what you said there, pretty much word for word, I agree with. It is a shame with him because I feel like he had a good season last year, considering I think it was like 17 goal contributions in all competitions. So it's a shame. But then I suppose what you just said there is very accurate. Like if you've got one slow player in your ranks, that's enough. And then we could do with one, but then if you go with 2 or 3, then the midfield slow then, and then you got a problem. So yeah, good luck to him.
Just got to say to Jazz real quickly, put that glass of rum down. I've sent you an invite. If you want to join us, you are more than welcome. If you're sort of like a couple of rums in, it might be even more entertaining.
Yeah.
You know what he's like, don't you, James?
Yeah, I know, mate.
Nightmare.
Get him in.
Come on, Jazz. Put the rum down. Come and talk to us. We'll have a chat.
I can imagine Jazz. He's shaking as he's getting that link.
Hold on a minute. I don't believe that for a moment. Hang on. I'm just in the process of copying and pasting something. Let me just finish doing that and then put that on the ticker. And then I'm gonna call bullshit on this. Look at this. Do you believe that, James? Do you believe that Jazz is not? I mean, he told me this on a voice note. Was it last week? Was it, Jazz? And he said he was being a good boy, this, that, and the other. And I'm like, that's not gonna last.
He's not drinking now, but he was drinking earlier.
Yes, exactly that. Exactly that.
He's run out of the rum now, but he didn't run out of the rum earlier. So there you go.
Yeah, you're not a drinker of any alcoholic beverages, are you, James?
No, yeah, I like a beer. I like a Guinness. I like a Jack Daniels. I must admit.
Why did I think you didn't drink?
Oh no, I do like the occasional Swift half, Rob. I'm quite.
What's your tipple of choice? If it was your last supper and you had one alcoholic beverage you could take,
it's Jack Daniels, mate.
Yeah,
it's Jack on the rocks, mate.
yeah. Do you have that with Coke or just on its own?
I've had that with Coke. I've actually had it with orange. It's very nice with orange. Like, ever try it with
Okay.
orange? Yeah, it's quite yeah, it's quite nice with that. Yeah, probably Jack Daniels. I'll tell you what I do like.
Mm.
Baileys. I'm a bit addicted to a little bit of Baileys. Yeah, I mean, I can't be a bit
Ooh,
of
my
Baileys.
missus likes that.
I'm not a vodka drinker. Like, that's one thing I'm not really into. Never been a fan of vodka. Just like
Yeah,
I
I
just look
take it or
at it.
leave it.
Yeah, but I tell you what, give us a pint of Guinness, like properly a proper pint of Guinness, like not one of these ones that you get that sort of crap. But if you go up
You ever been
London
to
or go
Dublin?
to, yeah, I've been to Ireland. Trust me, mate, it's like eating the
Oh,
stuff, isn't it? it's like
it's
it's like
dangerous, isn't
tar,
it?
isn't
Because well, the
it?
thing
Yeah,
is, I tell you what I find is sort of like when I've been to Ireland, right? Is that and I remember people saying to me, "Oh, it tastes different in Ireland," and I'd sit there
yeah,
and I'd go, "What are you on about? It's made in Ireland and it's shipped over. It's the same stuff. How the hell can it taste?" And I tell you what, anyone that's watching this that has never been to Ireland likes a pint of Guinness. Um, it's true, honestly.
yeah,
You know how you normally get that bittery aftertaste when you have it, sort of like it goes down smooth, but then there's that like bittery. None of that.
yeah.
None of that at
And it's
all.
thicker. It's thicker
Yeah,
over there than it
yeah.
is here. And what someone said to me, because a girl I was with years ago, she was Irish. She used to go to Ireland quite a lot, like
Mm.
Limerick and all around that way. And when it comes over in the barrels, where it's swaying from side to side, it loosens it up. So basically, when it's traveling in like containers and in lorries and things like that,
Yeah.
every time it's loosening up. So, but when it's over in Ireland, it comes straight out of the sort of like refinery or whatever it is, and it's pure basically. I
Yeah.
think I had Rob. I think I had 5 pints of it over there, and I was completely out of my nut. I mean, like literally, I was like, I was gone. Right, because it's so strong
And
and
and it
potent. Like,
and it does turn your poo black, doesn't it?
it turns everything black, mate. Trust me.
I remember going on a
100%, mate.
stag weekend. We went on the Easter bank holiday of 2006, right? And we're obviously on a stag do. You're drinking and you're doing all sorts of shenanigans. And I was a bit younger than I am now. And yeah, it literally did turn it black, make it was like charcoal. I was like, bloody hell, what is that? You know,
Yeah,
I thought I was going to die. But
yeah.
it was beautiful over there, really was. But here's the funny thing, right? So if any of you guys are watching, and obviously I'm going back a little way, so it may have changed this, and I will get to your question in a moment, Lynn. And thank you very much for submitting a question. If any of you got any questions, please sort of help yourself. But we did the Guinness factory tour, right? So we paid our money. There's all of us on a stag do. We've all sort of rocked up. We got piling in, and we got given like this. It's about that big, and it was like this sort of glass type sort of material. And it sort of had the Guinness emblem on the top, and then it had like in the center of it, it had like this little black blob, and that was like a blob of Guinness. Okay. But fixed to it was like this sort of black plastic ring that was literally just connected to it. And a load of people were sort of like, what the hell's that? And they'd literally just pick it off and chuck it away,
Mm.
right? Big mistake. Big mistake. Because you'd go round the Guinness factory and you'd see all of the bits and pieces going back to the 1700s and how it was all done. It's fascinating. But right at the very end of the tour, you come to this bar that's right at the top of the Guinness factory, and you've got this 360 sort of view of the city of Dublin, right? And you're looking round and you're like, oh, that's lovely. And you go up to the bar, right in the center, there's this bar. You go up and you go, pint of Guinness, and they turn around and go, have you got your token? What token? Well, when you were given that thing, there was like a little black what? Pile
Yeah.
back down and sort of like, where the hell is it? So I don't know if they still do that. I mean, I'm going back to like 2006, so that might have changed. But yeah, so if they still do it like that, that little black ring thing, keep hold of that because that's a free pint of Guinness for you. Let's just have a look at this question because Lynn's put this in and I've been rabbiting away. Do apologise, Lynn. Should we have bought a striker? If so, who would you have liked? Now we did talk about that earlier, Lynn, but I'm guessing this was before you've jumped on the stream, so not a problem. in my opinion, I'll tell you what, I'll let James answer the question first as the guest. Should we have brought a striker, James? Who would you have liked?
We definitely should have bought a striker. We should have definitely let at least one of them current strikers go. Who is the $1 million question? Like when you look at Tony leaving and going for all that money, and then you look at Duran who's still there, and there's other players out there. I'm not too sure who it would have been, but if they've been scouting, then hopefully they would have found someone. Do you know what I'm saying? Jazz, how you doing, son?
He's put the run down, look.
Yeah, I'll tell you what was going on. Obviously, been really busy at work. Haven't done a show in a week, and I was watching things at 8-9 o'clock in the transfer window, and then I was going to do a live one like you guys are. Then I saw every channel was doing one, and my energy levels are really low, and I'm like, I can't be arsed with it. I was really tired.
You need some rum inside you, Jazz.
Well, coming back to that story, you guys are going to laugh. I'm about to embark on a 8-week body changing regime. I bought all these bodybuilding books here, and I'm about to start on Sunday. That's going to be
bodybuilding.
Look at that. Look at that. 8 weeks. The new Jazz. You wait.
He's going to be Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Well, one step. I had to do something, man. I was just like doing the same shit every day, like obviously working from home, and don't even bother going to the office as much as I should. Yeah, but this is like, so I'm going to start on Sunday. So I was reading up on what I should be eating, what I should be doing, and get back into it. And I'm a member of a gym that I pay for and don't go. So I'm one of those as well.
I think a lot of people.
Yeah. And this is my first one because you guys wanted me to have one. It's my first one. So it's definitely none after Sunday. But Yeah,
what is the rum you're on at the moment, mate?
Yeah, it's generally always Bacardi, mate. You know, always Bacardi.
You're a white rum guy.
I'm fine with it. It suits me down to the ground, and it's one of the funniest things, Gatesy, since the all the prices have been going up in the supermarket for everything we need. Bacardi and alcohol is one of those things. Since the lockdown, mate, it's even cheaper. If anything, it's odd. It's the only thing that has stayed stable. Obviously, prices for a pint of beer inside the pubs, that's a different story. But if you want to get a bottle from the shelf, you know, just an average bottle of whiskey or rum, it's just cheap as chips. This is £15 a bottle, mate. It's all right.
See that one on the ticker at the bottom, guys? West Ham loan Aguirre to Sociedad. It's done. It's confirmed. He is now on loan until the end of this season at Real Sociedad.
Yeah, you can fuck off.
Oh, Jazz.
I got no time
do you
for
remember,
it.
Jazz? Jazz, do you remember all the Moroccans that used to come in? all the Moroccans. Yeah.
Listen, he come in, and of course I'm happy when he came in, jumping up and down. I saw a couple of his games at the beginning, including Europa, and he looked really good. Dare I say it, I even mentioned a resemblance to Tony Gale, the way he controlled the ball, left foot, brought it out. But then, as we grew to know, as more and more league games happen, mate, the guy can't defend at all. My goodness. And all the Moroccans have gone, they vanished. I haven't heard from him in ages. And no, but Casey, you got to just, the thing with me is I have to judge it what I see on the pitch. I don't care about, you know, and yeah, it's not for me. And then you saw this time last year, all these stories about him having a flu or a virus and just didn't play for many weeks. And then as soon as the sort of tournament for Morocco started, he was quicker than anything, and he played in every game for them, came back, went missing again, and then I mean, one thing you can't say about Zuma, you can't control the knees, but don't forget the 2 years Zuma had when he came, didn't put foot wrong, able to read the game. Yeah, I've always said that as a centre half, you don't need pace. Look at Bobby Moore, look at John Terry. People like you need to read the game, position yourself. And these class players will never be caught on the wrong side. They always know where the players are, and they read the game really well. And I'm afraid Agurd, coming from the French league to the Premiership, which is unforgiving, and every week you're up against a striker full of pace, strength, wizardry. He just wasn't up for it, and I didn't endear to him. I'm sorry, got no time for him. Yeah.
Andy's put a question in. You're talking about obviously centre backs, and James was talking about the possibility that maybe we needed to sign another centre back. Now, Andy asked the question here, boys: should we try and sign a free centre back? Because obviously, I know the transfer window is now finito, but if there's a player out there that's currently out of contract, we can bring them in. And Andy mentions people like Matip and Hummels. So do you think that that possibly could be an option, or do you think we should just go with what we've got and, as he says there, use Alvarez as a backup?
You want to go for it, James? Or, yeah?
Matip won't be a bad shout for West Ham. I'm not going to lie. On a free transfer, I think he was decent enough, but possibly. I make mine short and sweet, and I let Jazz land. Alvarez being a backup, yeah, but then if you take him out, who's going to be the DM? Who's got like the enforcer? I don't think it's Rodriguez. So yeah, I'm a
No,
bit on the fence.
Souček.
No, no, mate.
Sorry.
No.
Sorry.
Go on, Jazz.
I was watching some of the other channels, and the feeling was, yeah, let's discuss it. Why we are out of all the positions, this is the only one we're one short, because more or less we've got two covered in every position. And then I think the argument is that, okay, we could bring one in, but then is the feeling we could bring one in from the youth? I think we always want to give youth a chance. Is this the one where we've got someone in the back? Because hands up, I don't follow the ladies team. Hands up, I don't follow under 21, under 19, under 18, under 16. James knows following the adult team. That's enough. That's enough for me.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know if there's one in there. I know Liverpool stole one gentleman from us last year. And this thing about youngsters, when Newcastle City and Chelsea are going around poaching them, is winding me up to the max, because I want to look into the regulations, the rules. They're mopping them up, mate, with like a Hoover. They're going. Newcastle are doing it a lot last 2 years and even continue to. So our really highly rated centre back went to Liverpool last year. And now I don't know who's left. Harrison Ashby, I know it's not related, but he's gone to QPR, everyone. You know, and I'm a bit of a bastard. And when this happens, remembering how what happened between us, and I'm like, all right, mate, all right, you know, we were
well for you.
I'm a bastard. I'm sorry about that. Well, that's the way I feel. And so there's an argument. Is that one space for someone to maybe have some time if required? It's all done. That's good.
It hasn't been confirmed on. I'm waiting for the old white sort of smoke, as they reference it, from Sky Sports News. However, Tekka's Beats just turns around and says that it's been confirmed by Fabrizio Romano. So are you on Twitter at the minute, James? Oh, it's not Twitter anymore. They call it X, don't they?
I am, I think. Yeah,
I'm just trying to find it now. Let's have a look.
Yeah,
see what he's saying.
Probably should have. Tell you what, whilst you're trying to have a look, I'm gonna.
Ivan Toney signed for
West 40 million.
West Ham have actually put something up 8 minutes ago. It's a. I hope it's the proper account. It looks like it's like a. Let me
Raheem
just check.
Sterling.
Yeah. 9 minutes to go. There's a image of Carlos Soler, but it's kind of. It's not quite clear cut to say he's coming. It's what can I say? It's a bit of a. It's when you deliberately fuzz up a photo, don't make it clear, but it's him. So they've done one of those 9 minutes ago. A Gerd's news was out 12 minutes ago. In terms of Fabrizio Romano, let's see what we get from him.
On the screen there, mate.
We go there. I've got it there, but it just says it ain't even got a photo of the poor son. It's like no photo or nothing. You know what I mean?
So just waiting for it on. Yeah, no, they've not confirmed it on Sky Sports yet, and they're usually pretty quick off the mark. But
going back to your question, Gates, that Luizzi, the Brazilian, that was a waste of time. He's gone back.
Luizão.
Is he gone? Is he got 2 million? So I think we can still sign players on loan for free if there's out there. So I don't think there's any panic, because it looks like that the scouting system we've got, or the knowledge we've got in terms of Tim Stein and the manager, I think we could get one fairly quickly if we ever needed to. I think that's the thing with the new transfer department, whatever we're doing at the moment. It seems to have all angles covered. There's a list there that they go through. There's no panic, like I kept saying on my shows, Gates, if your number one target, like Duran, didn't happen and you pursued it as much as you could, they quickly jumped onto Fulker number 2. They didn't carry on for too long. They just moved quickly, didn't they, between the targets?
We was talking earlier actually about that. It'd be interesting to get your thoughts. I mean, what do you think, right? So we offered, if you believe what was put out there at the time, right, that we got up to 37 mil before we went abort mission, right? And yet we spent, so we was prepared to spend 37 million, and we've obviously decided that it's got a bit too rich for us at that point. But we spent 47 million between Guilherme and Fulkrug. Now, do you not think that maybe it would have been better business for us to make a couple of less signings than what we did, and maybe put some of that 47 mil that we pissed down the drain on those two towards getting Duran in?
I think I've never been that excited or sure about a player who's hardly played. It's weird. I know that guy's good. Oh my God. You don't get players like that come along that quick. And for West Ham to have that close a chance to someone like that, who Colombian fans are saying he's going to run it for us for 10, 15 years.
Oh, breaking news. Breaking news. It's done. He is in.
Yeah. The one they're saying might not get done, Gatesy, is the Cornet one. Someone reckons Cornet ain't going to be done because they've got Ryan Fraser over the line. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Maybe he's a backup. I don't know.
Well, the thing is, Jazz, although it's gone past 11 o'clock, if the clubs know that they're close, but they've not quite got every single T crossed and I dotted, there is the scope that between the hours of 9 p.m. and 11 p.m., if a team submits what's called a deal sheet, then that gives them an extra 2 hours to get what they need to done. So there is the possibility, of course, that and I believe it's got to come from the buying team, not the selling team. So in essence, Southampton would have had to have submitted that between 9 and 11 to the Premier League to say, we're close, but we just need a little bit more time. Can you give us an extra 2 hours? Yes, okay, go. So I guess that, it could still rumble on, but I'm just gonna, can I get that? No, I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'll share this tab instead and I'll put that on because that's obviously got our man on there. So Carlos Soler, he's now signed up. I mean, it seemed to take a bloody eternity. But he's there. He's obviously there at whether that's Rush Green or London Stadium, I don't know, but he's one or the other.
London
but
Stadium,
yeah, I'm pretty excited about that because it gives us a little. We was talking earlier, James and I, and it definitely gives us a little bit more craft and invention in the middle of the park. I mean, if Paquetá for any reason is out of the equation, whether that's injury, suspension, or he's banned, we've now got a pretty good plan B, I would suggest.
Yeah, we needed more invention in the middle. It was evident at Bournemouth. So, yeah, and it's a loan deal. I don't quite know the details of the obligation, if there is one or what's going on, but perhaps we can check him out and see if he can get that form back he had at Valencia. But he's been all right. He's played a lot of games for PSG last couple of years. And PSG is a club, mate. A lot of people end up there and it doesn't go anywhere for them. They've got too much money, too many people in the squad. We signed Kera from there, didn't we? I think, yeah. And that was kind of up and down, but we'll see what happens. It's that Spanish link again with the manager. He's spoken to him, he knows him, and Lopetegui's an expert on the Spanish league, so hopefully that works. We'll see what happens. But going back to your John Duran, mate, I think this is an amazing chance for us to get someone really, really good, amazing. And we saw that at the London Stadium. The guy oozes class. Bit like Arnie, so assured of himself, and then he showed it. I think what I heard the last bid was 32 million plus the kid. That's what I heard it was. And you're right. And when I look at the formations we're playing, which it doesn't suit Somerville, the starting formations we're doing, and I'm thinking, God, the West Ham put 50 odd million into the Brazilian kid in Somerville for next summer when we're guessing that Kudus is going to go. Is that what we're doing? I mean, a lot of money, 50 million for a club like West Ham to just put players in now and again and things like that. I don't know. A bit weird. Yeah. But I would have gone for Duran because I just think being respectful to the size of club West Ham, that boy Duran is too good to be on the bench at Villa. That's not going to carry on, and he is a top four. Chelsea, I just remember Chelsea virtually had the deal done and something happened again, didn't it? But Duran would have changed That boy would have changed West Ham next. I mean, I'm not saying he would have been with us forever, but next 2-3 years, we'd have no issue of having someone up front, young, dynamic, fast, explosive, good in the air, good on the floor, great touch, anticipation. My goodness, hard to find players like that, and he's going to be a great striker for someone.
Are you happy, Jazz, with the window?
Well, if we quickly just Fodringham, okay, third choice, that's fine.
David Martin, modern day.
Yeah.
What I'm thinking is that squad wise, there's never been a better one in terms of numbers and 2 per position. That's never really happened. That's good. What I'm confused about, which might be good, is that you're going to find out that game to game, you won't know what the starting lineup is.
Yeah.
Right? You won't know. You won't know. You won't know. There's 4 or 5 that'll always start, and we know who they are: Bowen, Kudos, Kilman. Outside that, I'm not sure. Maybe that's good. The opposition won't know. We won't know. The players won't know. So that's going to happen. That's never happened at West Ham before. I thought I was going to go with 4-2-3-1 from the first game and played Somerville, Kudos, Bowen, Fulkrug up front. But then I'm not a manager, and he's gone 4-1-4-1. Souček has surprised me. So listen, I've got nothing personal with any player at the club, and Souček has done all right. I'm happy for him. But I just didn't see him fitting in that system, and somehow he has. But Lupatigi's making him do what he's good at. He's not a CDM. He's not a tackler. He's that box player, arrives late, gets on the end of what he's done. But can he carry a player like that the whole game? I don't know. I mean, if he gets 10 goals a year, I'm not going to complain. Going back to the window, I can see nervousness in Fulkrug. He's a good player, I think, but I keep telling people coming to London, it's a big club, a lot of people in the stadium, it's a tough league. It's not easy. And I can see a bit of nervousness in him. He's snatching at chances rather than, you know what I mean, take it easy.
Yeah.
And so let's bear with it. Somerville again at Bournemouth, I saw nervousness, and I saw him nervous again. He a couple of chances, he quickly just missed them, didn't comfortably put that anywhere. But he's got good he can control the ball, he looks exciting, but it's just that nervousness of settling in. So 1 or 2 signings, I think. It won't be as easy as it was for their last clubs because it's a bigger stage, it's more pressure. Just give them time. I'm still, like you said, I'm very positive with the project. I'm with it. Kilman is the one, isn't it, mate? You know, really, really good. Plays it's like we've got 2 defenders out there. The boy's everywhere. He's got his arse in the way, his legs, anything can get in the way. Very good on the floor, starting the attacks. Todibo looked good, really good. I mean, when you watch us centre backs highlights on YouTube, and all of them are about his passing, I'm like, what's going on here? Where's his tackling? But yeah, so if Todibo eventually settles in, Kilman comes in, Basaka, then that's a really good forward. Emerson, that's a really good back four that can play on the floor. No problem at the back. That's the good news. But I don't know how we're going to set up in midfield. How are we going to fit all these players in? I don't know. Money outlay was good, James. The numbers coming in was good. We got a few out the door. Fulkrug is the one, isn't it? I mean, he's 30, is he? Is he 30?
31.
It's 32 in February.
Yeah.
And like everyone said, maybe we needed one more striker to share the load, because Antonio, again, I didn't see anything so far, mate. 2 games, seen nothing. 2-3 games. Antonio, not seen anything from him.
You're not surprised at that, probably.
No, because I've been knocking on him. I've been knocking on him for the last couple of years.
I'm not saying you specifically. I don't think any of us are really surprised.
I think he's an impact sub, though, isn't he? Like when you look at Antonio, 15 minutes to go, that's what you want him to do. Yeah, but the thing is, I just feel like he is going to be a starter because Fulkrug ain't there, if that makes sense. So it's a bit of a tricky one with Fulkrug, but I think the window's been all right. The only issue that I've got with the window is
too early. Yeah, too early.
Yeah, right. There's 3 things that I've got issues with. I think the left back situation. I think Emerson goes down. You put Cresswell there. It's not the same thing. I don't think we've got cover in that position.
Yeah.
The Souček one is a baffling one because he's playing as a 10, he's playing as a midfielder. Like, we're going to be interested to see how Lopetegui takes him out. Like if Lopetegui takes the amount of pace to Soler, Paqueta, and Alvarez, that'd be quite a good 3. And then I think the final one and the biggest one of all is Kudus on the left. That is a problem in itself, and I don't like him on the left. I don't know about you, Jazz. What do you think of Kudus on the left?
He doesn't look good, mate. He's been very quiet. It's not happening, and it all goes back to I'm a traditional guy. Left wingers used to be left-footed. Gatesy knows that. Right wing, and it's the other way around now because they cut in. Somerville's another one. So that's. I'm finding it hard to adjust my mind. What's going on? It's all these new formations. It all started off from Klopp playing wingers up front. That done my head in because I used to love 2 up front, and we all did. So that all went upside down. Now we've got no strikers in the game. They're all fucking wingers. And now they're playing on the wrong side to cut in. It's doing my nutting. And now the fullback position is virtually a wing-back position. And now centre-backs are playing like Trevor Brooking. What the fuck is going on?
Everyone's got identity crisis.
I don't know what's going on, mate. So all the centre... So that Spurs goal, that Van der Ven, wherever his name is, he ran from his penalty area to the other area and set the goal up. That's a centre-back. So...
What the hell are you doing here?
I don't know what's going on, mate. Maybe goalkeeper's going to take corners next. I don't know, mate. It's just go with the flow. It is hard to understand what's going on. It's the new way, whatever way they call it. But
that's all right if you're Man City, but not everybody's got the money to buy the players that can do what the Man City players can do. So sometimes you got to cut your cloth accordingly. I don't see what the problem is. Sort of like this fascination, this insistence of, you know, playing out from the back, even if you've got players that are ill-equipped to do it. It's like if you've not got the players to play that way, don't fucking do it.
I know.
I think it's I can't remember, but maybe my dad did. I think this is similar to what I've seen so far. As maybe, entertainment wise, it has been a bit up and down. I get that, especially Bournemouth game, but I think it's going to be a case of who scores more with West Ham at the moment. We're going to be fairly open at the back. The fullbacks are sitting on the halfway line like Roberts and Arnold do. There's fucking nuts. So all it takes is Paqueta, Mascherano to lose the ball in a semicircle. We're all open. So that's the tactic. That's the tactics that, like Palace could have put 3 passes in the first half. They didn't. And then we got back in it. It's going to be that kind of season, isn't it? It's going to be weird.
Lucas thought you quit.
Lucas, where you been, mate? No.
He had a break. That's all.
He's been resurrected.
I need to have a break.
Yeah, I've had 2 breaks. And then I still ain't got that much time to do it. I'm up and down. So, yeah, I'm sticking in it at the moment. But, yeah, I had a big break and we fucking won the tournament, didn't we?
Can you have another break, please, Jazz? If we get deep into a sort of cup, can you just sort of knock it on the head for a little bit? That'd be great. Thank you.
Oh, dear. I remember that. I remember that. He went, I remember the break. And the next minute, West Ham were lifting the fucking trophy.
Well, we did it for you, Jazz. We did it.
I stopped before the semi-final, if I'm right, just before somewhere like that.
Oh, you should have carried on to the final.
Yeah, I mean,
great day.
Yeah, but I think what it is, James, it's like I don't like the window system. I'm a very traditional guy. I don't like the window deadlines. I don't like them. I think people get blackmailed in all kinds of ways in the window. I don't like agents, the money they get. I don't understand that. Yeah. I hope I'm not predicting it, but Wan-Bissaka, I think he's going to get a few injuries at West Ham. I've got a feeling. I've just got that feeling. Yeah, I just got that feeling that he's a very fast player. He's all action, sticks his legs in. And the crowd love him. The crowd will love him. I think he got the biggest cheers, a couple of tackles, the Bournemouth game. But you can see him. He was stretching. He's had a few niggles in pre-season, didn't he? And just keep an eye on him. I mean, yeah, he's that kind of player. But like James said, if he misses 1 or 2 games, and let's see what happens at the back, isn't it? But... Are
you boys gutted we haven't signed Carlos Bacca? I think Andy's a bit disappointed.
We're still linked with him, probably.
No. It's that guy at Sevilla, isn't he? He's the one that Lopetegui.
El Nesri.
Yeah, Lopetegui messed about with him, didn't he? Saying we're going to sign him, we're signing, and he was at number 4.
At least that's over now. That scenario is over. Like
Carlos Bacca, is he still even? He's still playing. Would you believe he's playing back in Colombia by the looks of things?
There was a Uruguay. You remember that Uruguay striker,
Maxi Lopez?
Yeah, that was the one that. There was a guy called Lopez, big old lump in Spain. Played in Spain, didn't he?
There was a geezer called Maxi Lopez. For. He was playing at
It's a Spanish team
Valencia.
up front. Up front by
Valencia
himself.
is playing for Valencia.
Oh,
And
vaguely.
West Ham are chasing him, and do the usual thing. Let it go.
We were bidding like increments of like £10 every day, like going up.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
That
it's
doesn't sound like
to,
Sullivan at all, does it?
no,
Yeah.
Gates, you remember Carvalho, the Sporting Lisbon CDM?
Yeah,
That was embarrassing, wasn't it? In the end, like the guy had
Wasn't
to
it
write
that
an email
they were the
saying,
ones that
"Fuck
came
off."
out and said that the two Davids were a pair of like,
Piss
the
off,
dildo, they called them the Dilto twins. I'm sure that was where
Yeah.
the phrase came from.
Yeah.
So, I don't think Andy's sold on Duran though.
Nah, they're the best players for West Ham, Andy. Don't worry about that.
We
It's
love
fine.
a bit of
Yeah.
sort of like a lunatic, don't we, Andy? Come on,
Yeah.
Paolo Di Canio, Julian Dix. Some of the best players we've ever had have been lunatics.
I reckon someone can double their money on Duran next 2-3 years. I rate him that highly, mate. And he's very odd what
But
happened
he hasn't
there.
gone
But
anywhere, has he? He's still at Villa.
well, you talk about it. What about that boy Broja, 22? Career's just gone. I mean, he's can't pass a medical. Ipswich, Fulham was sniffing around. They've given up on him. Yeah, amazing. 2 years ago, we wanted him
Bro's going to Everton, apparently.
Is he going to Everton, is he?
Yeah,
because Ipswich gave up the medical.
They've submitted a deal sheet, so it could happen between now and 1 o'clock in the morning. But they've submitted a deal sheet, and they're trying to get him in Everton.
Same as Calvin Lewin, one of the best strikers, fully fit, but rarely fit. So
yeah, a bit of a strange one that is. But I mean, it's one of those, if you're injury prone, then it's like Zuma, isn't it? It's like he's not asked to have dodgy knees. He's got them, whether he likes it or not. And like you said, he was a beast when he came in. He was an absolute monster.
I think I was at fault though, Rob.
Why? What did you do?
I was at the Dagenham Redbridge West Ham game, and I took
Oh.
the famous photo of him with
That was you.
That was me in the crowd.
Oh, I didn't realise that was you that took that shot. That
Yeah.
was awful. I'm not saying the shot was awful. I'm not saying you've not.
I
got a
made sure I
career
got
as
the
a
zoom in.
photographer. I was like, he's got 2 ice packs strapped to his
Yeah.
bloody knees. I'm like,
And
what is this?
I'll tell you what. I watched that game. I videoed it on X for the people because they wanted to charge a $5 to watch it, and I thought it was a liberty. So I recorded it live. I went live on X and just recorded it for everyone to watch. And I cut it off, and he come out second half with 2 big ice packs. I mean, they were like that big, and I could not believe it. So I said to my mate, "Hold on, watch this." And I zoomed in, took the photo, stuck it up, and it just pinged like a good. And everyone was going, "Look at it.
Look at this.
Like that. Yeah,
It's
look at
Albert
this."
Steptoe.
So I'm going to take credibility for that. I was the reason. Not no
So
more.
You're the one that started everybody panicking and going, "That's our club captain."
That's our club captain with no knees.
Unreal.
yeah.
Brilliant.
Rob, I'm going to have to make a move, but it's been a pleasure.
No
mate.
problem, mate.
All
Thanks
right,
for
take
coming
care.
on. Do appreciate
Jazz,
it.
I'll catch up with you soon, mate.
Yeah, take care,
easy,
mate. See you later.
Take care, man.
So, Jazz, rum. I want to talk to you about rum.
Rum. So what it
'Cause
is,
you
mate?
you like white rum as opposed to brown rum. So tell me.
No. I'm not. I drink most things. I won't touch vodka for some reason. Got a couple of bad experiences with it. Vodka. Don't like vodka. Even Grey Goose, all that stuff. Brandy, mate. The smell. My wife can drink it neat. Oh my god, you can pay me to drink. Off the smell. I'm thinking it was so strong. How can you have that neat? Like she just drinks it neat. I'm like, wow.
She's a brave girl. She's married to you though, isn't she? So she's obviously a brave girl.
She's a red wine machine, white wine.
It was her birthday the other day, I noticed.
Yeah.
I hope you got something nice.
I think we're going to go away September for a couple of days in Europe somewhere.
Oh,
we
lovely.
went for a nice meal in Westfield in Brent Cross, or what do you call it? Shepherd's Bush area.
Yeah.
Got her a perfume. What else she bloody up to?
Oh, she's looked after. Look at you.
She's all right. And
she does well, does she?
Yeah. She's all right. Yeah. I mean, we haven't got a birthday in the family now till December the 7th, so I got a bit of a break.
So you can sort of save up pennies now.
Yeah, but in December I've got a birthday in the 7th, on the 27th, and it got so bad for my daughter on the 27th. She's contemplating that she celebrates half of it halfway through the year now. I'm knackered by the 27th. And
you
I'm
know
like,
when my birthday is, don't you?
No, I can't remember.
Christmas
Is it?
Day.
Oh shit!
Seriously.
How do you? What's that been like for you down the years as from a
Everybody
kid and all
asked me that question, and it's one of those. When I was a kid, it was great because my family would always make a point of, okay, that's your Christmas present and that's your birthday present, sort of thing. Unless what I wanted one year was particularly expensive, and then they might turn around to me and say, look, really,
Yeah.
we're going to have to. But generally speaking, the rule of thumb was when I was a kid, birthday present there, Christmas present there, right? Because they didn't want me to lose out, which was fair enough. And then, Jazz, you get to a certain age, you get to a certain point in life, and people are asking you, what do you want for your birthday? Don't know, don't care really. So
It has,
it's just
yeah, it
what you
has
get
got to
used to
that.
at the end of the day.
Yeah, it has got to that. I can't even think of things some years.
Hmm.
And people just, I know you're going to laugh now. Like, I've
Go
had
on.
a couple of big birthday parties. I fucking always get booze, mate.
Right, yeah. Why not?
No, I don't. I mean,
Saying
come on,
about,
I've got.
I was going to say to you about rum. Have you ever had Ray and Nephew rum?
Yeah.
That's like
Overproof one.
petrol, isn't it?
I had it as a joke and I kind of survived, but no, that's not my style. It's just a not. But I'm shocked to see people drink that. It's just
It
like
is
I went to
mental.
Canada and my cousin, because he knew about, he got me a thing called Bacardi 75. It's overproof. It's got inflammable sign on it. It's just a novelty. But I know that another guy who got it same day as me, he drank it and he was sick for 4 days. And my uncle had it, and he said, when I took a sip, it's like a fire going down the middle of my stomach, like in the front of my. And I'm like, I said, you're not meant to. I mean, some people are nuts. So I've got it. It's on the shelf. You're not meant to sell it in the UK. It's got warning signs all over it. It's 75% proof. That's virtually alcohol. Yeah. I'm like, there are stuff out there that's stupid like that. There's beer out there, 10.5%. I remember at college, Gold Label, the little can. Super Skull, was it called back in the day? Super Tenants, all them lot.
Yeah.
But rum
like
should
brain
be.
sleep.
I went to the Caribbean and rum punch, mate. Oh my god, I was in heaven. Rum punch. Wake up in the morning, chili sauce with your omelette. Rum punch, beautiful.
I bet you were in your element, weren't you?
Can't go wrong. I think rum is so neutral and okay on the palate. I think ladies like rum as well. Like, I don't like spiced rum, but it's very popular with a lot of people. I get heartburn with it for some reason. I don't know why.
Do you really?
Yeah, I know Morgan Spice. I think you're a fan of Morgan Spice. I think you
Love
like
a bit of that.
Yeah. I get it. Dark rum. My granddad was a little bit in the army. He used to like the Lamb's Navy rum, the dark color one.
Yeah, I've had that.
Puts a few hairs on your chest in the winter.
Oh, it does. Yeah. It's good stuff. Puts like you say, put hairs on your chest. It makes a man of you, even if you're a woman. So
I think it's crushed ice. Lime goes well with it. Lime, Coke, and Bacardi. You can't go wrong with it.
Tony's saying Havana Club dark rum.
Yeah, Havana Club's good. It does the 3, 5, and 7. They call it. Mount Gay's another great one. I've been to their factory in Barbados with a wife. I went there. Unfortunately, there's no cricket there. I went to outside the cricket ground there.
How was you said that your boy was at the at Lord's the other week?
Today as well.
He was there today as well.
I'll send you. Yeah, absolutely full. Long day for him. I think he left home 6:30 in the morning, and he started about 8, 9. He works in the shop there, and a bit of money for him while he's a student. I think he's going tomorrow as well. He told me, he goes, he works in the normal shop, but for the Lord's members, it's a different shop only for them. And some of the clientele is very interesting stories. He says some of the things they ask for and what goes on, but there's free meals, and if nobody follows cricket, Lord's, the lunch that Lord's has, the players, it's world famous, the quality, and he gets a bit of that for free, and he's really happy, and it's a nice part of the world, isn't it?
He fell on his feet, your boy there, didn't he?
Because he worked for Windsor Castle last year, in security inside. And then perhaps that helped because you get fully vetted for jobs like this, and references that go, the proper do check. Lucky didn't check my channel out, but there you go. But, but yeah. So yeah, like you said, keeps him out of trouble. But it is hard for students to get a student job, even though he studies in London. He said, "Dad, everyone's like, there's so many applications per." Because I said, "Oh, you was living in Camden last year," and I said, "Oh, yeah, you're not that far from Oxford Street. Look at the shops there. You're going to get a job. You couldn't get a job there." He goes, every retail store, and you know how many there are in London. There's so many applications per role. So he got something. So he's happy.
Got there in the end.
He's happy with it, really.
Which is the signing you're excited? I asked it to James earlier. Which
I'm
still West Ham signing you're excited by. The one that you're looking at and going, that's the one.
I might have to cheat because I'm trying to think what I thought. Because everyone's going to say Kilman now, aren't they? Everyone kind of got a feeling now. It kind of masks what you were saying before. I thought Kilman. I like Kilman a lot because the manager knew him, and that gave me comfort that he's managed him. He's his number one target.
Yeah.
Maidenhead, and he played a bit under Dev, I think. So right now it looks like Kilman has settled in so easily. I thought he was going to be the captain. I didn't think of Bowen. I thought Lopetegui was going to make Kilman captain.
I thought that.
Yeah. But it all makes sense now, and it's a good decision. But now, if I think of someone else, I mean, Basaka looked good, didn't he? Again, tried and trusted in the
15
Premiership.
million as well, Jazz.
Because in West Ham's history, and I'm going back to a long time back, we've been starved of good fullbacks. Not that many. Johnson is the one that came, and then Chelsea.
Wait a minute. What about John Pansill?
There's a few like that, wasn't there?
Guy Demel, like Joey O'Brien. Come on.
Yeah.
These the legends of the game, Jazz.
The guy who came from Leeds, that was the worst one. Sam or something. For his name there.
Oh, Sam Byram.
Yeah, that was bad.
He just was really unlucky with injury. I don't think he was a bad player. I just think he was just unlucky with getting
He came with a big reputation. He was their captain. The Leeds fan said, like, he's half good. It just didn't happen. Yeah, I like fullbacks. There's not too many. Basaka's good.
West Ham fullback. Go on.
Yeah, because he's virtually my favourite player. It's Julian Dix, isn't it? Virtually,
Yeah,
he's my favourite player. Because I started watching West Ham Upton Park night that season when Lou Macari came in, when Julian Dix became captain, and you used to see a fullback dominate a game of football like you've never seen before. You know, every corner, every free kick, every penalty. I mean, if you had that guy in a fancy football today, 10 goals, is it? 5 to 10 goals, 5 to 10 assists, you know, and could spray the ball 30 yards, left, right, long, short. Oh, and he's very good in the air gates. Oh, yeah. I think players adapt. I know he didn't have a lot of pace, but he had a lot of brain, didn't he? Again, didn't really get caught out. I'm thinking more
for sort of like the disciplinary side of his characteristics. He'd be getting sort of like sent off every 5 minutes, wouldn't he?
Yeah, but I'm thinking like these players, they kind of get into what's asked of them at school level, I think. So back in those days, of course, you went in rough, you got away with it, and you played that way all the way through. But I think if you're starting out now, 11, 12, 13 years old, you can't even breathe or say anything. You get told off and stuff like that.
Get cancelled.
But I was just about to say, do you remember how good he was in the air? People forget. He's very good in the air. Couple of good goals in the air, and nearly made it a pro level at golf, didn't he? If some of you don't know.
Yeah, it was his knee that sort of put pay to that as well, wasn't it? He just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Did he ever knee replacement?
Yeah. He certainly had knee operations. I don't know exactly what went on there, but he wasn't meant to come back the second time, but he did, I think.
Yeah. That was the one that really did him in. I remember seeing him play against, I think it was Arsenal after he made that second comeback. I'm sure he played in a League Cup game against Northampton Town. I'm sure it was. And he came back and it was a bit of a fanfare and the returning hero. I'm sure it was Northampton in the League Cup. And then we played very shortly afterwards. I'm sure we played Arsenal at home and he got absolutely rinsed. And you just thought, and I think he also played away at Charlton, and I'm sure I'm getting this. I might be misremembering, but I'm sure there was a game shortly after he come back that he did unfortunately get embarrassed, and I remember watching him and thinking, I think he's done. I love him.
Yeah.
I think he's done.
I mean, talking about the transfer window, maybe some of the viewers, we actually signed him on transfer deadline day back in April '87, I think, from Birmingham. That was around March. The deadline, the original deadline, used to be in March, and that's when so many signings used to happen. So he came in, one of the few good signings from after the '86 season. Then, just being honest, I think the magic, John Lyle, and it just vanished bit by bit. We lost good players, wasn't able to replace them like for like. And to be fair, some of the money from the board dried up as well. Bit reactive, not proactive. Didn't build when we were doing well. And you remember people like Paul Hilton, Gary Strodder, and Stu Robson. No one liked him. I thought he was a great player, but he wasn't West Ham type of player.
One good season, but we signed him off of the treatment
Arsenal.
table. So the story goes.
Yeah.
John Lyle literally signed him whilst he was on the treatment table with an injury.
800 grand. That's a lot of money back then. 750 to 800 grand.
Yeah,
you know, we got 800 grand from Celtic for McAvaney. It might have got, and we bought him back for 1.25 million. And McAvaney said, when I was about to go Celtic, I told John Lyle, just give me a little bit of an increase in the salary, I'll stay. So typical West Ham, no, we're not going to do it, but we'll buy you back for 450 2 years later.
But the reason was because we was staring down the barrel. And do you know what? I actually went to an event with Macca as one of the star turns, and he turned around and said that he had the choice between, when he came back, signing for either Arsenal or West Ham. Now, bear in mind, that was the season that Arsenal would go on to win the First Division Championship, because this is pre-Premier League, don't forget, with obviously the Michael Thomas goal at Anfield. He could have gone there. George Graham wanted him, and he would have won a league title. Instead, he ended up coming back to us and got relegated.
Yeah, he said he spoke to him, but George Graham personality is a bit hit and miss, and he also Tony Cottee, same thing. I think Tony Cottee spoke to Arsenal.
Tony Cottee also had the opportunity. Yeah,
but they didn't bond with George Graham. But he wanted McAvaney to track back, I think, or something along those lines.
Yeah, probably.
Or play second fiddle to Alan Smith. I forgot what it was, but he's like, thanks, but no thanks. And
Alan Smith loves West Ham, though. We all sort of like, whenever he commentates on West Ham, he's so glowing in his praise for us. He's brilliant.
Why do we always get him? He annoys me so much. Why do we always get him? It's just, and especially for the Arsenal West Ham games. Oh my God,
yeah. Do you know what I really hate? Right, when you've got a game between two clubs, and one of them's a top 6 club, and one of them, say, West Ham or Brentford or whoever, right? And they'll have Gary Neville in there, or they'll have Jamie Redknapp in there, and you're sitting there and you're looking at the is there a representation of the other club? And sometimes there is, but not always. But whenever there's a top 6, one of them type Sky Sports top 6 clubs, them scumbags. Sorry if you support them, guys, but you know what I'm getting at. We're outside of that circle, I'm afraid, and I'm not talking about you, the fans. I'm talking about the people that run the clubs. I dare say half of you can't stand them. It's always you've got to be Gary Neville. It's got to be Roy Keane. It's got to be Daniel Sturridge. It's got to, and they've all got big connections with those top 6 clubs. You don't often see Carlton Cole there. You don't often see. I mean, Tony Cottee obviously got the push from Sky Sports, but even when he was working for them, you never really saw him doing punditry and all that.
Well,
6 tossers getting involved all the time.
Yeah. I think the only non-top 6 commentator that's a regular on any TV as such is Alan Shearer. I think he's the only one. And then, he can be hit and miss. He sounds a bit drab, but I used to love him as a player. I respect him a lot for the player that he was. Yeah. I thought he's a machine. I remember him before the injury at Blackburn. My goodness. After the injury, he's still great, but before that first injury at Blackburn, guy was a machine. So there's not that many.
Injury again when he was at Newcastle.
Yeah, probably.
But he probably got the better of it.
Yeah, I think so. we've got very good commentator. People forget that Trevor Brooking half led Match of the Day for a decade, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
So he was very, very good. After that, I think Tony Gale is on a big channels in the Middle East. He's a very good commentator.
Yeah.
Tony Cottee is very able, very good speaker.
Yeah.
Alvin Martin is a great speaker as well. So we've got the people. We've got the people out there.
And he's not a fan of Carlton Cole and
no.
Carlton yeah, all right, fair enough.
No,
I was just throwing a name out there.
Yeah. One thing I remember about Carlton Cole, when Paqueta signed, he said, "Are you fluent? Like, he thought Brazilian's a language." He said, it's like Carlton, they speak Portuguese there, and he's like, he's always does things like that. He's learning.
Yeah.
Like, Anton's not natural, but people love him, so he's getting there slowly. Dare I say, I go to a lot of events that Dave, an ex-employee, do. It's led by Martin Allen. He's a very good presenter. Martin Allen's a good lad. Does a lot of work at the corporate. So we got a lot of people that speak well. They're well experienced. But yeah, some of the people they choose, Sky, BT, very odd selections. Very.
But they've
odd.
all got to be in the main. They've all got connections to those 6 clubs, haven't they?
Yeah.
And what do you make of? Because I haven't spoken to you since it obviously happened. What have you made of that League Cup, Carabao Cup draw, where you've got the top 6 or the 6 European clubs of the 7 that qualified for Europe? 6 of them are essentially seeded. They can't play each other, and of those 6, 4 of them get home draws. I mean, what did you make of that?
I think I was at the game, probably like you, if I'm guessing, the Bournemouth game. I was there, so I didn't see the draw live.
Oh, no, I was at home.
Okay. So what I was hearing was that it was even fixed to the point that Liverpool were going to be at home. It was that bad. They wanted them to be at home as well as not play each other.
Yeah.
And then I watched the Champions League draw, and I sat there for an hour. I didn't know what the hell they were doing.
I took no interest in that.
I don't know, but because in my feeling, and it goes back to what you asked, is that the Super League is coming, whether we like it or not. It's going to happen. I don't know the format. I don't know how they're going to slip it under the carpet. It's going to happen. What I found out about that Champions League draw is Gatesy, I think it's gone up from 32 to 36.
That's it.
Teams, and they're playing many more games, and it is a league. It is a kind of a league, and that will kill off a lot of the leagues domestically. And I think from obviously what's happened, which is a disgrace, I can't see the Carabao Cup surviving beyond a couple of years, mate. I think the Carabao Cup, I think the Carabao Cup's gone. I don't see it surviving a couple of years.
It just seems to me, it's it's the old thing, you want to find out answers to something, follow the money. And I just sort of sit there and think, well, I think that it's got to be Carabao, it's got to be the EFL themselves that are complicit in this fix, and it is a fix. It's hidden in plain sight, right? How can you allow this seeding, and they get the home draws and this, that, and the other? So all I can conclude is that they're doing everything in their power to ensure that these clubs get as far in the tournament as possible.
With fewer games played.
Yeah, and ensure that come the final, you've not got West Ham versus Brentford. You've not got those sort of clubs, those peasant clubs that are competing in the final. We don't want the peasant clubs.
Well, actually, you just remind me of something. Do you remember when Coventry won the semi-finals last year?
Yes, they were against Man United.
Wasn't there a dodgy decision involved in that?
There was.
I just remembered it.
Yeah, happens. Happens. And did you notice the thing about it? Because someone put it on we did the stream last night, and someone put it in the live chat, and I can't remember every single facet, but I think it was of the last 9 teams that we've had in the League Cup. 7 of them have been Premier League clubs, right? And of the 7 Premier League clubs that we've had, 6 of them have been the so-called top 6. Now, there's bad luck, Jazz, and there's wow, that's something else. There is something else going on there, Jazz.
No, but don't you remember the first game of the season? How that went on, apart from the last couple of years, and it ended up like Liverpool 1 year, United
Yeah,
next, City
yeah,
next, Chelsea next, and I was like, it
yeah.
was hilarious, and
It's
that
like we've
went on.
upset someone.
Yeah, yeah. And it's
Yeah.
always the way. And when people ask me, Jazz, do you want to have a good cup run? I said, of course I do, but it's largely to do with the luck of the draw. It's not.
Mm.
It's like sometimes the management can't do anything. Like you said, we beat Arsenal last year in the League Cup, then we always end up playing a big team again. We beat City as well, and then we always end up beating the next one. It's like if there's 4 clubs left, it's West Ham, Liverpool, Arsenal, and Yeading. We're going to play Liverpool, aren't we? Arsenal's going to play Yeading, and there was a period where Arsenal. Hang on.
Sorry, Jazz. I've just seen something come through on. Hang on. I'm just going to share this with everybody because this does involve us. And I'm going to put it on the ticker. Now, according to Sky Sports News, there have been. I put a little thing on earlier, and I haven't really drawn attention to it until now, but it's quite important to us. So there were 9 deal sheets submitted. So as I said earlier, deal sheet is when a deal is almost done, but their club needs more time, despite the fact they've had 6 weeks or so to get this shit sorted. They can, between the hours of 9 p.m. and 11 p.m. on deadline day itself, submit to the Premier League what's called a deal sheet, which basically says to the Premier League, we're close, but we need a little bit more time. They then get dispensation of an extra 2 hours, so 1 a.m. In British summertime, to get the deal over the line. Now, of those 9, and this is why I'm making such a big sort of point about making it, is as you'll see there on the ticker, it does actually say that one of those deals is the Maxwell Cornet loan deal to Southampton. So, though it hasn't been announced yet, it doesn't mean that that deal is not going to happen. It's in the pipeline. So that deal, we've already sent out James Ward-Prowse on loan to Forest. We've already sent out Naya Fagerd on loan to Sociedad. The deal to get Maxwell Cornet to Saints is still in the balance. That's not dead. Breaking news.
Yeah. I think obviously there was news from ex-employee earlier on during the day that Ryan Nelson's agent was calling West Ham up, basically telling him have the player, we'll do everything we can to make it happen. And West Ham were like, we'll see how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
And but I saw the footage on Ryan Nelson. I wasn't impressed, mate. I didn't really want Arsenal reject, and they want 20 odd million or something, whatever. I like Nketiah. I like him a lot. I think he's a good player. Would you have had him
for 30 mil?
He's gone for 25, isn't he? Is that plus?
Yeah, I think the total outlay could, with add-ons and all that, I think they're saying it could be up to 30 mil. Would you have shelled out for him?
The other thing again is can he play up front by himself, or is he Danny Ings? I don't know. He's a very good player, but you need 2 wingers close to him. You need a 4-3-3 like Arsenal. Then he might be all right. But yeah, he's a good player. He's done very well against West Ham. Good finisher. We'll see what happens. But yeah, good money for them. They got rid of a few, haven't they? Goalkeeper's gone, isn't he? And they got Neto, haven't they, in return, something like that. Yeah.
I mean, my son told me about this, and he went, and I sat there scratching my head, going, "Has he got this right?" So Ramsdale's gone from Arsenal to Southampton, which is I completely understand that, right? So he's got England aspirations. Obviously, he was the number 1 until Raya came in, and then he got pushed down to the bench. So Southampton have come up. They've made a play for him, and he's going to go there and be their number 1. Makes sense. Not a problem, right? Neto has left. Kepa Arrizabalaga, the Chelsea goalkeeper, one of 8, I believe, has gone from Chelsea to Bournemouth, right? And from what I was told, before he left, they got him to sign an extension on his contract on less money. And I was like, why? Why would you extend your deal at a club that you're not playing at and you're doing it for less money and then you get loaned out? But here was the one where I scratched my head, is that Neto, who was the number 1 at Bournemouth, the number 1 goalkeeper, Now, I'm assuming that he's sat there and he's seen Kepa coming in. It may well still be. I'm not too sure. He at least used to be the world's most expensive goalkeeper. And he's probably sat there and thought, "Oh, I'm going to be playing second fiddle now. I'm going to be onto the bench. Or I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll go. Where's he gone? He's gone to Arsenal." And I'm like, he's not going to play there. What's going on?
Yeah, it is a weird, isn't it? I don't know if it's the money involved or whatever.
Well,
doesn't really make sense to me, some of the things going on.
yeah.
Sometimes the agents pressurize them as well because the agents make money if they move. Even if it doesn't make sense, just move, mate. I'm going to get my money anyway. I don't know if there's a bit of that. Or do they want a champions? I don't know. Do they win? I don't know. I mean, I don't want to wish Arsenal win the league. I don't want to think about that. But they're going to get a medal.
Would you rather City win it again?
Yeah, I don't want Arsenal winning it.
But then does it not become a farmers' league? Do we not become like France, Germany?
The thing with even Declan Rice is I didn't want him going to Arsenal, and since that time, I've kind of not really interested in Declan anymore.
He's not the last day.
No.
There's a under 14s player at West Ham, and he's got
the money. The money. Yeah, £5,000. Yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah,
he didn't have to do that. I mean, £5,000 to him is like 20 pence to you and me, but he didn't have to do that. I thought it was quite a good move.
He said no to Man City, didn't he, to join Arsenal, which is everyone knows about that.
I think he's a home bird. I think he was only ever going to go to a club that was in London. I don't think he had any ambition of leaving London.
I don't know about that, but I know that he had a chat with him at Christmas, didn't he? Arteta around his house and promised him he would sign him. He he got persuaded in the project, and we fell out of love with Arsenal a lot over that transfer with the fans. It didn't come across very nicely, and we had some rude interaction with those guys. And from that time, and then even when I watch Arsenal, I know my son says City does similar, but it's the diving, the cheating, the time wasting. I just don't like them. Arteta, some of the things he does on the touchline winds me up. Just lacks class, I think, sometimes Arteta when Arsenal is struggling a bit. So I enjoyed them not winning anything. I enjoyed that a lot last year, and we'll see what happens.
If he could have gone, assuming, like I say, that I'm right, and he would have only gone to a London club that had a realistic prospect of playing regular Champions League football and competing for the highest honours, which is what he left us for, so he said, and I do believe him, by the way. If there was 3 clubs and 3 clubs only into him, and they were Arsenal, Chelsea, and Spurs, which one would you have preferred him to go to?
I don't mind Chelsea because he came from there, and we more or less accept that Chelsea are in that bracket now. When I was at school, we were same as them. And then you remember under Abramovich, they stole half our team, didn't they? Johnson, Cole, Lampard. So I'm used to Chelsea taking our players. And to be fair, whether we like it or not, we're kind of outside their level for a long time now. We don't think of them a lot. We beat them quite a lot recently, which is nice. So I didn't mind that because he came from there. But we know Arsenal, Spurs. Well, Arsenal, I didn't really mind Arsenal till Arteta came. Spurs was obviously, we don't deal with them. We get that. I was hoping he goes to Liverpool, Man City, or Real Madrid, and then I would have loved him forever. But since that move, he's out of favour with me.
Dead to me.
Well, he was on my West Ham Irons channel logo, and 3 weeks ago, and some people were telling me, like, because I had him lifting, and even someone was saying, take him out, Jazz, and I'm like, I'm all right with it. It's fine. But I put Bowen's face on top of it. It's hilarious the way I've done it. So I've covered his face with Bowen.
Oh, I've got Deck in my introduction on the channel.
Yeah,
lifting the trophy.
Yeah, I understand that he's got no loyalty to any club, but that includes Arsenal. So if Arsenal fans think he's one of them, he ain't. He's a professional. He's an ambitious guy, and he'll give him one more year, Gatesy. Next year, keep an eye on him. He'll give him, like, this is his second year now. Let's see what happens. If they don't win anything this year, then he's going to make the same kind of, because he wanted to leave us at least a year before he did. And Sullivan
didn't he sign a 5-year deal
on that basis, because he was really going to go, and it kicked off. And Sullivan, it was really hard for Sullivan, and somehow.
No, I'm talking about Arsenal. Didn't he sign a 5-year deal when he went there last year?
Oh, I don't really look into those. I
But
don't
what
care
I'm
how long
saying
they
is,
are.
it's sort of like if
Yeah.
he's got, let's say he signed a 5-year deal
Mm.
last year with Arsenal. So if what you're saying, so next year he'd still have 3 years left, and you think he's going to try and agitate for a move?
Yeah. I think he's super ambitious, and he obviously speaks to other team members, England who play for Man City, play for Real Madrid. Arsenal are obviously not in that bracket. Also, keep an eye on the possibility that if Pep goes next year, is Arteta going to go City? Keep an eye on that one. So we'll see what happens. But he's ruthless. He's not going to hang around if he can't win anything. He wants to hit the heights. He did that ditching Ireland for England. We all know that.
Yeah, true.
So good for it. But he's that kind of thing. He's very headstrong and knows what he wants. And yeah, he doesn't belong to any club or any faction, any club. He's a nice human being, as you just mentioned. He'll always do the right thing on and off the pitch. We know that. But personally, I'm more bonded with Bowen, and if Bowen went next year, I love Bowen a bit more, and because I'm pretty certain he wouldn't go Arsenal, something like that. I don't think so.
Could you imagine the conversation between Danny Dyer, the man, and Jared Bowen over sort of like Sunday roast after he's just signed for Liverpool or something? I don't think that'd go down too well. What do you think you're doing here, Jared, you son? You slag.
What do you think about that Liverpool cheap move for Chiesa? Well, that's a weird. No one can understand the fee with that.
He's had 2 bad ACLs, isn't he?
Oh, okay. Is that what it is?
I think that's the reason.
Oh,
I think that he's got a little bit of a question. Someone told me he's had 2 ACL injuries, and it's like one's bad enough, and 2 it's like. And is that the only signing they made? Because I heard the other day they hadn't made any, and I thought, wow. And I know they've got a fantastic squad and all the rest of it, but it's like they're a year older than they, obviously 12 months earlier, clearly.
51 caps, really. Wow.
Yeah, and it's the old thing, if you stand still, you're actually going backwards, and if you've not made any signings, to me, you've gone backwards, no matter how good you are. And you didn't win the Premier League last year. You're not going to do it this year.
I think they bought 2. They bought 2 players. I don't know if that's related to Klopp leaving and perhaps the recruitment team. Oh, that's it. Because I thought that Stetton was going to go to Liverpool. Tim Stein. I thought he was going to go to Liverpool because I didn't know Klopp was leaving. I just thought he's going, but he didn't. And they got another new guy in, I think. So it's just settling down time for them. I think there's another club who've changed the recruitment team, and that's why they're a bit slow at the blocks. Newcastle, I think that's the other one. They've hardly done anything because Amanda's gone, and it's all new, and they've missed a lot of targets, I think. So that's the situation with them.
Yeah. Is there any players other than Duran? Is there any players that you really, maybe one that's not even has been connected to us, a player that maybe is close to your heart for personal reasons? Is there anyone that sort of like you'd like to see us bring in?
Obviously, the striker has been a big issue for us. I did consider Solanke, but the thing with Solanke that worries me, it's different playing for Bournemouth with no pressure and laid back fans and playing for a London team again. It's a different ball game.
Yeah.
And I saw his first game, lots of chances, missed a couple, went off. He played the game, but then they said he's injured. So he's in the stands now. He's not playing. And if you followed his career at the beginning, up to 25 is going nowhere. He was a very expensive signing for Eddie Howe at Bournemouth, 20-odd million 4 or 5 years ago. Didn't do nothing.
Yeah.
Went down to the Championship, didn't do nothing. Then he scored in 2 years in Championship. So that last year is his first proper year where he's banged in 10, 15, 20 goals. That's the first year.
Yeah.
So if that's you worth 65 million, then that's fine. But I'm just watching that with a bit of interest, I think. 65 million. Whether he's got it all in there, but I don't think he's mentally that strong. But we'll see what happens. So I thought about him a bit. Other players, obviously a lot of players going Saudi. Tony was mentioned a lot.
What do you make of that, Tony?
Mm.
Bit of a weird one, isn't it?
What it is with him, Arteta's spoken to him. I think it's the reputation of being a dressing room disruptor. I think people are worried about that. Again, like Bournemouth, like Brentford, you can do whatever you want at Brentford. No one's going to say nothing. And he obviously has been up to a lot of no good, as we all know. I think that's a concern. Playing wise, we've seen him at London Stadium rip it up. I thought England, there was rumours that he kicked off with Southgate, didn't he, at the Euros for not playing? He got annoyed.
I heard a whisper about that.
Yeah. He's got that in him, whether you like that or not. I know John Duran's got...
He did himself. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, but he's a great player, but it's all to do with the manager. Radnat would have loved a player like that, saying, that's what I'm good at, bring it on. I'll control him. You know, Arteta's probably thinking, I'm the Don here, which he clearly is. He's got the players like school kids in the Arsenal. You've seen the way Arteta runs the show.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want anyone who's trying to be bigger than him, so that's fine. So Tony, it depends on the manager. Can the manager sort him out? It's up to him. There's a few players lying about. Danny Ings obviously hasn't gone, unfortunately. He's the only one.
We'll terminate his contract, or do you think we'll keep him?
Well, the good thing about Lopetegui, unlike some of the previous managers, is he's going to use everyone in that squad. They're all going to get time, apart from Danny Ings. I don't see Danny Ings getting anything. And Ings has been offered to a few clubs. I think Southampton spoke to him, just wasn't interested. That's fine. Apart from that, I think obviously the John Duran link came out of the blue, didn't it? I didn't expect that. And he's only he scored 5 goals last year, I think. Came on as a sub, scored a couple against Liverpool. So we didn't know much about him. A lot of people want to look at the championship. We did. We signed Somerville. He should provide a few assists and goals if he fits into the formation. We'll see what happens. But nothing really stands out, I think. Chelsea's always got loads of players, haven't they, to flog out. Conor Gallagher's gone. Yeah, Gallagher's gone, isn't he? Chalobo, whatever his name is, people looking at him.
Yeah.
I wanted Mitrovic 3-4 years ago, didn't he? I used to bang on about him. I really wanted him at West Ham.
He's over in Saudi, isn't he?
Yeah, he went 2 years ago. Yeah, he went. Fulham got Jimenez under the radar, didn't he, after his serious head injury? He's a very useful player. Yeah. I like Calvin Lewin. But the injuries, there's not a possibility of that.
Too many injuries.
You can't do that with that.
Might as well re-sign Jack Wilshere.
We had to pay him off, didn't we? Like Lingard, we had to pay him off.
We did.
Apart from that, there's not that many strikers in the game anymore, Gatesy. Like I was telling
strikers.
You want to buy a winger? Oh yeah, you can buy a winger easily. You can't buy strikers hard. You know.
Who's your favourite striker at West Ham over the years?
Hasn't been many, has it? Recently, really. I enjoyed a couple of years with the bastard. What's his name again? What was his name? You know, under Pellegrini, he went to Italy.
Arnautovic.
Yeah. I like
another one. He was a winger,
but when he played, he was so assured of himself. He held on to it. He twisted. He turned. He made goals. He had it all. So he was quite good to watch. Unfortunately, Chicharito, it just didn't work out. He's another Danny Ings.
Yeah.
Didn't see much of the other two big signings, unfortunately. Haller and the other boy, Scamacca. Had high hopes for Scamacca. He's got a serious injury as well, isn't it? Maybe an ACL as well. I don't know.
Yeah. Not good. Not good, that.
What
do you think about this, though? Just quickly, Jazz, what Oscar's put there? Because the Soler deal, if we're led to be believed, it's a straight loan, and there's neither an option nor an obligation to buy. Bearing in mind that the last time we had this situation with a certain Jesse Lingard, do you think that's a good move or not?
Well, I also remember talking about another striker that we forget. Remember Barr? We bought him from Christmas.
Demba Ba, yeah.
He hit the ground running, and then he had that relegation clause, didn't he? Which Newcastle snapped him up.
Yeah,
I can see more good in this because it's financially we're not committed.
Mhm.
If he has a good season, 90% Gatesy, they'll always sign for you because you've bonded with the team, the manager, the area. Very rarely, unless you're really bad, that you're going to go back to the club that doesn't want you. I don't. So I
Like
think that's
Calvin
very.
Phillips.
I think it's very clever because I think we are stretching the limit, aren't we? The roof ceiling. We're quite near it, aren't we? Not a lot near it, but we're quite a reserve club. We don't want to go a bit too much, over
Yeah.
75%, shall I say? So I think that's great. I think that's great because I think that's good because a lot of these loan options are becoming hardcore. Like the Tadiba one, is that going to be permanent after 5 games?
Yeah.
See,
I don't know about 5 games, but it's a loan at the moment. But I believe with Tadibo, it's an obligation to buy. That's what I've been told anyway.
There's not a lot of those coming. They're hardcore options now and clauses. I don't know why that's happening. I'd love a loan option. I'd love that.
That's a good shout, Andy. That is a superb shout. Ashton.
Oh yeah, Ashton. Yeah, had it all. I was in Greece on holiday when Phillips done him in England camp. That's just West Ham all over, isn't it?
And it was the last minutes of the last training session before the match. Like, Jesus, really?
We didn't get any money from the FA because they said he came back from it when he really didn't. So that was why the FA didn't pay up. We didn't get hardly any money for him. He got $1 million at the end if he's lucky, which it is what it is. But he had everything. But I think we would have had another year out of him. I think a couple of clubs are quite. I mean, he was going to be England regular. He was going to stick with us for too long. But good signing from Alan Pardew.
12. I reckon we'd have had him for another 12 if he hadn't have got injured. It's a sliding doors moment. I think if he hadn't have got injured, he'd have left us about a year later. He'd have been an England regular. I think he'd have gone to Man United. I think Fergie would have treated him perfect. Hang on.
Yeah.
Hang on, just a moment. We've got Dad's Our Job podcast. Hello, evening. Well, it's actually good morning now, isn't it? It's gone midnight. You'd love to jump on the stream, right? I tell you what. How can we do this? So, because I haven't got your number, and I'm not too sure. Are we following each other on any of the social media platforms? I'm just going to have a quick butchers.
Yeah, you can sometimes put it in Twitter, private message, can't you? Sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to come on, because we've not actually been introduced to one another officially. I'm going to hang
around 10 minutes. I've just seen the time. I'm going to hang around 10 minutes.
I was going to say, I'm probably not going to be around for too much longer.
Yeah, I'm just going to top up my drink back in a minute.
Yeah, that's fine, mate. It's not a problem. I'm just going to have a little look around. I'm sure either you wanted to follow me or I followed you. Hang on. Was it on Instagram, maybe? That's annoying. Right. Hang on. Sorry about this, ladies and gentlemen. I know this isn't terribly mentally stimulating, but please do bear with me while I try to retrace my steps, because I'm pretty sure that right, okay. Yes, we follow each other on Instagram. That is correct. So what I'm going to do, bear with, going to send via Instagram. Hang on. Hang on a minute. Hang on. Right, I'm back in the room and right, okay. Right, okay. You have just messaged me on Twitter, apparently. Now, is that my personal or is that the West Ham Massive? I ask myself. I can't see that on either of them. I've got a. Oh, I've just stumbled across. Hang on, right. Newsflash, ladies and gentlemen. This is probably completely wrong of me to do this, Jazz. But have a look at this. That's Carlos Soler's missus, I'm guessing. You're on mute, mate.
Oh, yeah, a lot of the ladies ain't going to be happy with that, are they? Is that his missus?
That's his. I'm guessing so, unless he's his
Right.
agent or something. I don't know.
And that's on the West Ham, is it? Or
Hang on a minute. Right. Okay. If you've sent it to Twitter or X, you are not following me. So I'm just gonna. So what you want to do? So the Twitter handle of the channel is at West_Ham massive, all one word, right? So if you've sent it anywhere else, then you've sent it to the wrong place. There's possibly someone out there impersonating us.
if he follows me, I can copy and paste what you gave me as a backup.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I'm tell you what, let me have a look. That's our job. There it is. Right. Okay. That's our job podcast. Okay, so it's Callum, Rob, and Adam. Follow. Right. So I've now followed you. And then what I'm going to do is I will invite, copy, boom, 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 boom. There you go. And we wait. So, right. Okay. Where did we get to? Yeah. So Carlos Soler's misses.
Yeah, but where's it come on? Because it's not on the club thing. Is it on Sky? Is that Sky one? That picture? Where is it?
Hang on. Let me find it. I'm sure it was X that just. Oh, bollocks. Hang on.
Hang on.
She weren't bad, was she?
That's why I want to look a closer look. Hang on.
Yeah. You and me both, mate. You and me both. Oh, where's she gone?
Okay, I can get in a few.
Christ. Is it West Ham? Is it West Ham?
Oh yeah. She's a model level. Yeah, blonde. Yeah, I can see. Very nice. Very nice.
Very pleasing on the eye.
Stunning, they call her. Spanish.
Oh, hang on. What's the code? I've just been asked. I don't know. I've got no idea. I've just been asked. He's asking what the code is. I've got no bloody clue. Hang on a minute. Let me have a look at the settings. Hang on. Let me stop sharing that.
This is what I tell people. Running a channel is not easy. You know, it ain't easy.
Yeah. There's quite a lot of.
Yeah. Sometimes you want to go. You want to go live in 10 minutes. It takes half an hour to set it all up or more.
Oh, I do a lot of prep in the background. I do all.
Are you one of those? You go live and you think, I forgot to do one thing, didn't I?
Yeah.
like something ain't right in the thumbnail. You wish you did it again, or something ain't right on there.
I've got no idea, and I know you're messaging me on Twitter, but obviously you can hear me, so there's no point in me typing it as well as saying it. I'll just sort of say it, and you can hear me. I've got no idea what code you're on about. What's the code? I mean, it should be just you click on the link, and it should.
That's what I did.
That's what you did. That's what James did. You just click on it, and it should take you straight in. And I've even checked to see, because sometimes I've had it where people have joined me, but some people, if you have the option guest must authenticate, then you have to do a few little bits and pieces in the background. But
I've not
even got that selected. Yeah,
it used to happen when we first started doing shows together, right at the beginning.
And I've not even got that selected.
Yeah.
So, in answer to the question you sent me. Oh, hang on. He says he's found it. So
that's fine. That's fine. Or sometimes it's because he's never perhaps gone into StreamYard and the settings remembers it, the Chrome or Safari. Once you're in it a couple of times, it lets you pretty quickly through.
Here we go.
Oh.
Which one are you of the three?
I'm the ginger one.
You're the ginger one. The ginger one. How you doing, Ginger? You haven't actually been introduced up to this point.
Sorry, there's a bit of a delay. Sorry. No, that's it. There we go. I had the YouTube back open, so I was getting it about 5 seconds later. So I'm Adam.
You're Adam.
I'm the West Ham fan of That's Our Job.
Tell me more about what exact for those watching that is like, that's our job. What's that all about? Tell us a bit more.
Yeah, so that's our job. So basically, we are three dads to young families, all football fans, and basically we all met up in a pub, and we got absolutely trolleyed over Christmas, and we come up with the idea as to, you know what, we're mid 30s, near enough 40 years of age, thinking, yeah, come on, let's do a podcast after a few tequilas, and it just things just rolled and snowballed, and then a few months passed, and then someone said, are we doing that podcast? And I'm like, oh, what, you actually want to do it, right? And, yeah, yeah. And I'm like, okay. So I've started to put the wheels in motion, and we officially launched about 3 weeks ago. So so the idea of it is that we are all dads to young families, and obviously prioritising raising your kids over supporting you or going to football is always the financial burden of that. So so yeah, so basically, I'm a West Ham fan. Rob and Callum are Arsenal fans, and
Right.
we get together
Nobody's
once.
perfect.
Nobody's perfect. No, I say, as I say, one West Ham makes up for two Arsenal, doesn't it? So we're on the level playing field. But how it actually turned out is that we all moved to the same new build site in Halstead, Essex, and during COVID, and we all had kids. We didn't know one another, and then our wives all got together through like baby social clubs like baby yoga, baby massage, and soft play and stuff like that. And then it kind of evolved. It's like, oh, you live on that road, which is round where we live, and oh, you live there, and then that we just got together and we just formed a really good friendship over it, and this is where we are today. So 4.5 years later, I've got 2.5-year-old daughter. Callum's got a 2.5-year-old boy, the same age, and Rob has got two adopted kids, Danny, who's 11, and Alea, who's 4.5. So, so we've got a quite a diverse sort of background between us as parents, and and we get together, we have a couple of beers and talk about the football that's happened in the week, and laugh at each other's fantasy football teams, and have a bit of a break away from not the as we say we could talk about Toonami to Poonami in terms of in one conversation. So it's so that's what our podcast is about.
I've just followed you now because we were interacting on my show, and I bloody you know what I'm like. As soon as the show finishes,
And that's fine.
I forgot. I just done it now, and I can see that you've interviewed Nigel Khan.
Yeah. So we had a really long. That was the first real episode of what we've done. So we do our Dad's Our Job podcast, but we also do a segment where it's Dad's Your Job podcast. So we kind of focus on the person that's interacting us as we're doing today. Thanks for that. I appreciate that. So with Nigel, we had a really long chat, about almost an hour and 20 minutes, and there we go. There's our ugly notes. And it was really good because you know what Nigel's like. He's very diplomatic. He's very very West Ham in the heart. He's a proper East End supporter, and he didn't have to open up to us about his children, but he did, and I felt that was really reassuring that we could give someone like that a platform to express their experiences of their children alongside football. And I really chuffed that he come on and we had a really good conversation. And a lot of the talking points that we had was just the sort of history behind West Ham, but also the concessions that's very topical at the moment. And so obviously it affects us as young parents. If we want to go and take my daughter, or and my dad, if when he turns over 65, and it's going to cost me £300 to get a damn free ticket to go and watch one game, and then that's just tickets. And then you've also got to consider the travel, the food, the football kits that have free kits a year every season. So it's trying to how to maintain the expectation, and how can we encourage the next generation of fans if we're financially restricted because of that. So we have to kind of put it back a little bit. And I'd love my daughter to have free West Ham kits. I'd love to have a season ticket to take my daughter, but realistically, It's a challenge. So and that's what basically that's what kind of led us to this podcast, because we want to tackle those things. We want to address it and highlight it as much as possible. Like, Hammers United have got in touch, and the Stay Back Concessions Twitter account has got in touch, and I'm just talking on West Ham, but it's not just West Ham. You're talking about Nottingham Forest, Tottenham Hotspur, Manchester City. Even they're even looking at doing that as well. So it's something that is snowballing into other football clubs, and West Ham is just one of them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's scandalous. I don't know about you, Jazz, but I think it's absolutely, some of these shenanigans that they're trying to pull. I'm absolutely astonished that they can get away with it legally. I really am.
Yeah. I think football is a part of it, but since lockdown, I mean, average salaries are going up 2-3%, and then we all going to the supermarket, and we've seen it's doubled, tripled last 3-4 years. Petrol, gas, electric, it's everything. Football has obviously got there now, and I always say that if a club owner or whoever runs the club is trying to save money, season tickets, match day tickets is not really gonna make any difference. Where you're gonna make your savings is agent fees, your weekly salary. You look at Danny Ings's deal. If you add all that up, right, and alongside one or two others we've done, that's where you're gonna make your savings. You're not gonna, you're trying to fleece a pensioner from 20-30 pounds. Well, that ain't gonna do nothing, right? You gotta see, this is Karen Brady's area, corporate sponsorship, getting more companies to kind of pay more money in the corporate side, which is not happening. I don't know if any of you've done the tour of the ground. It's appalling. There's effort
Not London
there.
Stadium, no.
Yeah.
So it's not a money-making machine,
No, we don't own it. We don't own it, do we? So I have raised this with Sean Whetstone actually, like in a private chat, because I went round and I went with my dad, and we went on the Legends tour. So I was shown around with Martin Allen. He's always entertaining, and
yeah,
so
mine's a top boy. Yeah.
And we got shown around, and I must admit, like, when you're coming out of that tunnel and going onto the pitch, I found the London Stadium more intimidating than Wembley, because I think Wembley is very closed in, despite it being quite tall. But London Stadium is just massive. It's so vast. I mean, I'm an architect, so I look at these stadium structures all the time. So I've got the attention to detail behind that. But the finishing inside, like stapling a bit of fabric to the wall, or cable tying a hoarding to the side, or just putting Billy Bond's poster up with sticky tape. That's not catering. That's not making our stadium our home. It's just a temporary facade until it occurs. But the bit that was quite interesting was the fact that there was no trophy cabinet. And
not only that. I mean, they can't show you nothing behind the goals or the Billy Bonds. There's nothing there. There's no rooms. There's nothing. It's just that one area. You see the corporate offices, like you said. You go into the dressing room. Wow, that was exciting, which it ain't. And then, if you remember when we first moved into the ground, in the tunnel there was pictures of runners, wasn't it? And Olympian athletes. And then it took ages to change that. I just hate going there. I just hate the £15 burgers out of a load of crap.
Oh, they're crap.
I just can't be after beer. They pour it an hour before you're gonna drink it. It's just not worth it. I don't really fond of any pubs around the area, to be fair. It's just not a really nice match day experience for me. And I came at that tour. It didn't feel like our ground. I didn't feel nothing about it. It's just the way I feel. And
the sad thing about it is that we've had to sacrifice that match day experience to talk about the transfer window that's just gone, haven't we? I mean, you look at the players that we've signed, and even think about hijacking Juventus. We've moved. I personally feel if we didn't move to that stadium, we wouldn't be in the position we are today in terms of acquiring the types of players to get that. Like, we only signed Mavericks because they had a colourful past or a history, like Di Canio suspended for pushing a referee. of Hayek, who fell out controversially every time he played for a football club, and we took a chance on those players and they come good. But I think with us now being in the stadium that we are, it's allowing us to attract a player that isn't hard. Do you know what I mean? So it's we can get that caliber of player and then evolve as a football club. And unfortunately, we've had to sacrifice our match day experience to give those players the stage for them to perform effectively, so we can enjoy it. But depends who the manager is, right?
Yeah.
I think you got to be careful of it, because if you look at it, outside the UK, the Premier League, the Italian, Spanish, German leagues, they've got no money anymore, so that helps. So outside the Premiership, we've got no competition. We can go and buy anyone from Spain, Italy, apart from Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich. Apart from those three, we got more money than anyone apart from our own league. So that's another thing you got to think about. That's nothing to do with the ground. The other thing is, I think the Sky money, the Premier League money is going up hugely year on year compared to the other leagues. That's another thing to look at. And the Declan Rice money is huge. This was the last installment, I think, 33 million. So next year, and we've got a lot of money in this. It's been the last 2 windows in the summer, we've got a lot of money in, which is rare for West Ham. You know, just looking, we got good money for Downs, for Kehrer, a little bit for 1 or 2 others. We've offloaded a lot, freebies and loans. And it was the Declan Rice money that helped us kick on. So if you take out the Declan Rice money in this summer, it's only that Pellegrini season that the owners have ever really, really spent. The Europa Conference done huge for the name worldwide. Youngsters know who West Ham are now. That helps. London helps. I think the Premier League is a huge pull. Stadium's big. They like it. 60,000, you know. So I don't think I need to check, because I work in accounting, finance anyway. I need to check.
Sorry, Andy.
Has it really made a difference financially on match day revenue? I don't think it has, in terms of, because our tickets are the cheapest in London. Our match day, typically the fans' background, we're not going to spend that much in the club shop compared to Spurs, Arsenal, Man United, Liverpool, City, all that tourist stuff. We do get tourists, of course we do, but they get more expenditure in their shops than we do, and we have to share the revenue. All those burgers we buy, I don't know how much we get out of that. It's very little. We've got no corporate boxes apart from one end. That's very few. You might not know, but the West Stand at Upton Park, that was one of the biggest single stands in the country, and huge corporate boxes up and 2 levels and behind the goals. We've lost all of that.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's that we moved into the ground 100%, that why we're spending more. It's part of the story, but I think there's all those other bits to look at, I think, as well. Yeah.
Do you guys think that we will get ownership of that, or be given the same sort of deal as what Manchester City have got in terms of having a free sort of input on the running?
Yeah, I think the second options is more likely. I don't hold out really any hope of getting, because the thing is that from what I've been led to believe, because it's a government building, if that was to be, let's just, because I think it's a well-established fact that the LLDC are hemorrhaging money on London Stadium, and have been basically since the word go. And I think probably in their heart of hearts, they would like to be able to turn around to David Sullivan and say, do you want to take it off our hands? The problem is that legally they're not allowed to, because it's a government asset. And if it's going to be sold, it has to be put out to tender by law, so that they can obviously get the best deal for the taxpayer, because it's owned by the taxpayer. Yeah. So I'm not entirely sure that's going to happen for those reasons.
I think we've got a big say in it. What happens to the future, if I'm right? I think we've got a big say in it. But also, I mean, you might know more, being from architect background. How much life has that building got? I don't know how long the life is. Their skin.
I'm not too sure. It looks like it's already falling apart already.
Yeah. It looked tacky last year because you had overgrown weeds outside the ground, in parts,
moss, rust, paint flaking, all that shit.
I think when you're looking at structures like that, you're looking at a 25-year life expectancy. And when you think when it was built and when it was used, sorry,
2041 because we moved in 2016.
Yeah,
So
we're halfway there.
Yeah.
Halfway there already. So
No,
I think,
but it was built in 2010, wasn't it? So you got to go back to that time, haven't you?
No, but don't
Yeah.
forget it was reconfigured, wasn't it? So I'm guessing
Yeah,
a lot of the structure was
2015, 2016. The structural support of the the
But you-
outer shell of the building, plus the roof as well, because we've got the largest roof span in the Premier League, because we have to cover all the seats as part of the regulations for football, and that's down to the running track pushing the stand back. But I think again, this kind of works in West Ham's favour in terms of taking the ownership of the responsibility of the running costs of that stadium, because now they can argue back with the government and say, well, hang on, this is decaying building now. We've signed a 99-year lease, and the life expectancy is only 25 years. So now we've got to invest more money to get that up to scratch for you to have a longevity. So I think the next step for that is to secure a new, I think it's a 999-year lease, which is what Manchester City have got, to then be able to take ownership and then make the redevelopments and reconfigurations needed to make it football friendly. I personally think that the stadium can be converted for football. I think it can. I think you don't have to do a significant amount of work. It's just the racking of the seating can be, the pitch can change and push forward slightly. If you look at the Luzhniki Stadium in Russia, what they've done for the World Cup, I think that is the perfect precedent for that. That is a bigger stadium, and that converted, if it was an 80,000 seater athletic stadium into a 90-odd thousand football stadium. So it can be done. It can be done. So if people want to just Google that and look at the transformation videos on YouTube or what FIFA provided, I think it gives a clear insight as to what can be done. But it costs money, and that's
that was
No,
going
but
to be my next question. How much and how long?
Yeah.
it'll cost a lot of money. I think you're looking. Let's just say a Declan Rice to convert that.
Mind
I
you.
mean, I don't know if it's easy to knock it, or I'm still thinking, because I sit in the Billy Bond stand a lot, and I'm just thinking, if someone's towards the back of the Billy Bond stand, how can he physically move that seat forward, or what would you do then?
You just change the concrete you change the concrete concourse, so it's only concrete, so you can break that down and repurpose that concrete. So what you do is you just break it down and you remold it to push it closer.
okay.
And then you change the pitch. So at the minute, London Stadium is pretty much like that. But if you push it forward and then put it towards that, then that's when you get it. But you might have a reduced head height because of the height of the roof. So the roof might have to be raised to be able to do that. So there's a lot of things that can happen, and I think it's definitely things like that can be reconfigured to suit. And I think a lot of people are poo-pooing on the idea of it can't. And architecture is one of the most amazing things in the world, and you'd be surprised as to what people can actually build nowadays. I mean, we've seen tower blocks go 300 meters tall, or anything's possible. It's just you need the right people to design it and the right people to consult as to what you can and can't do on it.
What do you think about this question here, chaps? That Andy's put in, and I think he makes a great point. Why would our owners want to buy it? We've got a great deal as it is. What's in it? It's the old thing. What's in it for me?
Yeah,
I noticed to build more corporate boxes, I think, within that new design, so for more match day revenue. Yeah, it's more. Let's look at the Spurs model. Cutting it in really layman terms, they've borrowed at historically low interest levels when that was built. And all they're doing is they're never going to repay the capital until 100, 200 years. They're just flipping the interest, paying the interest, at historically low fixed rates and flipping the capital forward. And in return, they've got something that is probably I think they've overtaken Chelsea in terms of match day revenue in London now. They're the biggest ground. And it's churning, and so Levy, like you said, we think about the cost of it, but he's not really repaying none of it. He's paying low interest, and in return, he's getting all this match day revenue. So that's the other side of it, the scale you want to get. Yeah.
You know who's second in that list?
Chelsea is it still?
London Stadium. London Stadium. Because it's so big and it can be reconfigured in so many different ways to suit events. We've had monster trucks there. We've had Major League
Baseball.
Baseball. We've had rugby. We can have cricket.
So
That hasn't happened yet. We can have
yeah,
NFL.
that was the one.
Nothing.
Because
There's no limitations on that stadium
I remember
other than football.
when it was first sort of spoken about that, we might have West Ham going in there. I remember Essex County Cricket Club were mentioned to play T20 games there, and it's never happened. And I always wondered why. And someone said to me, and I don't know if this is true or whether this is nonsense, and you may know this, Jazz, because you're into your cricket, but they reckoned it was something to do with the configuration of the stadium and the way that the pitch was sort of like it was facing sort of north to south, and they reckon that the ideal configuration for a cricket pitch is for the pitch to run east to west. Is that right?
I haven't heard that, but no, I haven't heard that. But
No, someone told me that, and I was like, "Is that?" And I didn't know one way or the other, and I thought it's one of those explanations that sounds so batshit, but it could almost be plausible.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Lords, haven't you, with its famous slope, and they
Yeah.
manage okay. That's fine.
Yeah.
The only one other thing before you chaps carry on, or before I forget, is obviously the London mayor has remained, which I like to think that the mayor's got a fairly strong say in the future of the stadium. And the lady that he was up against, if I'm right, she was pretty open about giving it to West Ham. I might be wrong, but I think I heard right that if she'd come in and this mayor had gone, then she was open to speaking to us about it, I think. So I don't know if any of you chaps know a bit more about that. I don't know.
No, I think I heard a whisper about that, but again, I don't know how she'd have, because she was Conservative, and obviously we've now got a Labour administration at number 10, so I'm not quite sure how that dynamic would have worked out. You know, it might have been easier if Rishi Sunak had remained in post, but that obviously didn't happen.
I'm not quite sure how the
but not only
mechanics
that,
work.
I'm not too sure legally she could have done that for the reasons that I articulated earlier.
Yeah. I've just noticed I've got a Leverkusen shirt.
You have. I wasn't going to mention it, but just it's fine. Just turn around and say you went to the away leg and you were doing a little bit of West Ham sort of like hands across the water, and you swapped shirts.
I wish that was true.
Just say it is. It's safer.
I went to Cologne on my stag do, and one of the task of events that we done was go see Leverkusen. So this was back in 2016. I'm going to get told off by my wife now.
You will.
2018.
Be careful.
2018. And so that was the time when Chicharito was playing for Leverkusen. So I watched him in play for Leverkusen. So this is well before they broke our arse in Europe, unfortunately. But it's just, slightly just one of the things that come round.
Actually, there's a lot to learn from the football stadiums in Germany, isn't it? We could learn from.
And going back onto Leverkusen's exterior structure is the same build up as what the London Stadium is, but at a smaller scale. And a lot of people are like, just do straightened off terraces, do straightened off stands. You do that, you lose about 30 to 40% of your attendance.
Really?
It's just not worth it. You look at the Leverkusen Stadium, because you're trying to fit a square in a circle. So you've got to fit the square inside, or the rectangle inside the circle, and the space lost beyond that rectangle is not efficient. But they done that for the World Cup in 2006, I believe. So that was part of the redevelopment of that. But anyway, guys, I've got to shoot off. It's very late for me now after doing a 2-hour stream earlier. So, but thank you for letting me come onto your show, and hopefully I could come on in future a bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, just one other thing. Is it just YouTube that your podcast on? Is there anywhere else people can find it?
We are everywhere and anywhere. So we mainly are an audio.
Spotify they're on.
Yeah, Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, YouTube podcasts, everything and anything. We're on that.
Adult channel. They're on the adult channel. Everyone as well. They're on that one.
And I probably also should say, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel as well.
Who's that
Yeah.
git? Yeah,
I've got no idea. Well, this channel is just a nudge under 3,000 subscribers. So there's 15 people that are watching right now, and if you 15, none of you are subscribed to the West Ham Irons channel. If you can nip over there, we will get Jazz to 3,000 subscribers live on this channel, if my maths is correct, and I'm pretty sure it is.
Gatesy, this is the one where if you look on the far right, Bowen, he's covering Rice's face. This is the cheeky thing I did 2 weeks ago. I got rid of Rice.
I did think he looked a bit strange. I sort of like it did look a bit out of kilter with the rest of them.
I know where you got that image from as well. Actually, was it Football News or something? And they were trying to compare Trossard and Cole Palmer as being the most prolific goal scorers.
It looks weird, and I was even thinking, I'm not sure it's Bowen, but it did the job. And
yeah, no, fair play to you, Jason.
I couldn't handle. Well, you missed it. But what I think about Rice, yeah, my love's gone, but Bowen's my new darling. Put you in there.
Yeah. Oh, well, when you host a podcast with two Arsenal fans, you get Rice thrown at you left and right. So I'm against it now. I'm a pasta man.
I could not handle Arsenal fans anywhere, mate. Good luck to you. I couldn't.
I bet you any money, though, Ad, before you go, I bet you any money, right, that before they shelled out 100 million for him, they were turning around saying he's never £100 million player. He's not that good. 80 million pound at best. Blah blah blah.
50,
I bet you any
50,
money now.
saying.
They're like they understand he is that good.
Yeah, you know what they say to me now after having a season of him and almost winning the Premier League, almost. They say, "Oh, we owe you more money."
Yeah, I've heard that. It's like, thanks.
Yeah, of course you do. Yeah. Make us feel better.
These are the same people who are saying things about Kudos, things about Bowen. The same people, those so-called Super Six, whatever you call them. Those type of fans. Right. Yeah, right. Those fans. Yeah.
Oh, before you go, Andy's just asking a very quick question of you.
Yeah, I do. Actually, I do. Last year, no, because there's no way I would ever want. There's no way I'd ever want Declan Rice to win a trophy immediately after leaving West Ham, but now he's had a year of Arsenal disappointment. I'm quite glad.
Jazz, you've hit 3,000, mate.
Yeah, well done, mate. Yeah,
you got
excellent.
You there.
Yeah,
well done.
Thank you, sir. But
this is the old thing, boys. You don't ask, you don't get. You know, you got to sort of be a bit cheeky and sort of say, listen, any chance you can drop a like on the stream. So,
Can anyone donate a super chat or by any chance? Or...
a super chat.
You're not familiar, are you?
Oh, the money. Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, yeah. I've seen it. I mean, sort of like I think when I did a previous YouTube channel, I think we maybe got about 10 quid in the 3 years we did it. So, never mind.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay,
brilliant.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Cheers, Ad.
Thank
you.
Yourself, mate. Keep in touch.
Be good. You
bye.
too.
Bye.
Bye now.
Cheers, bye.
And that was Ad from the Dad's Our Job podcast. Nice.
Yeah,
and as I say, you are now. This is brilliant.
3,000.
You are now. If I just refresh it, there you are. 3K.
I should have been 4, but I stopped, didn't I? That made a big difference to me. But...
You lost 1,000.
Yeah. I mean, James don't mind me saying it. He's ahead of me. I was ahead of him when I stopped. James was in 3.8K. I was ahead of him, and I stopped. And because obviously Europa 3-4. I don't know. Was that a couple of 2-3 months? I reckon 3 months. I reckon makes a big difference.
Can't believe he said that. That's racist. I must have missed that. I don't know what that's all about.
Yeah, it's probably
myself. All right, okay, it's all right.
I was a bit. I can't stand Arsenal. I don't want Arsenal to win.
Everybody to them. Look,
you will not be able to handle them, Gates, if they win. They'll be so nasty, mate.
I got to be honest. My late grandfather supported Arsenal, so I kind of have a soft spot for them, for him, but only for him.
It's Arteta, mate. He's turning into a
he's a cock.
Yeah. They're players, yeah. I mean, Havertz for a start. I'm glad they're booking people diving now. That guy's up there. He's up there. Havertz, terrible diver, does it all the time. Yeah. And then what's that celebration that idiot? Well, I call him the Tossard. all that. Did you see him? He scored, and he's just.
Do you know what?
What are you doing, mate? And
I can't work it out, Jazz, because half of these people put in more effort in working out a goal celebration than they actually do in playing 90 minutes of football. I'm like, just put the effort into scoring a fucking goal. How about that? Or making a sort of like a match-winning challenge or something.
He didn't smile. You got to see that goal back last week. He did not smile, and then after
Miserable
2 minutes,
yeah.
Then he started doing that. I'm like, oh, you idiot and a half. Seriously.
Yeah, plum. So,
yeah,
but no, I'm really pleased for you, mate. I'm glad that sort of like I thought I'll open my mouth. I sort of saw you was on 2.99k, and I thought, hold on a minute, let's see what we can do here. I thought, right, okay, let's see if we can push you over the 3k, get you there.
Thank you.
It's onwards and upwards to 4k now, mate.
I tell you what, just being honest, tomorrow morning it might go back to. You always lose 1 or 2 overnight for some reason.
Yeah, that's really. Do you get annoyed by that? I do.
I'm used to it now. No. It's just the way it is. There's no real rule or.
No, I know. It's just follows. You sort of like you look and you go, oh great, we're on whatever, and then you look the next day and you've lost 1 or 2 or whatever, and it's like, and I know in the grand scheme of things, the general trajectory is that you generally go up if you sort of do regular content, but every now and again when someone decides it's not for them or whatever, it does sort of make me go, oh, that's a shame. But there you go. Right. Yeah. I'm glad we got you there, mate. Really pleased with that. Right. I dare say we should probably bugger off, shouldn't we?
Yeah, before the sun comes out, mate. Yeah, before the sun comes out, mate.
Before we do, though, Jazz, as I say, congratulations on getting to 3K. And I am going to ask everybody to please make sure that before you go to bed tonight, that you like, comment on, and share the stream to your social media platforms. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. Hit the bell icon for alerts and new content. Remember, guys, all these things that you can do are free of charge to you. They take you a couple of seconds and they help to grow the channel from its current base. And we thank you very much indeed for your support. Jazz and I are going to bugger off now, but please don't forget to give your support, if you can, to the Irons Supporting Food Banks charity. Come on, you Irons. And City, you got to watch out, mate, because we're coming for you.
It's another Saturday.
Supporting.
Sorry, go on, say that again.
A third Saturday kickoff in a row, I think.
Yeah, imagine this is a weird one because it's 5:30, so I might actually get time to get to the ground and have a bit of pie mash and liquor. That's the
like plan. The Villa one. My son always has pie mash at the ground. I haven't tried it, but he always does.
I don't have it at the ground.
Yeah, he has it at the ground. What, are you in your seat? I'm like, I couldn't eat in my seat pie mash. I don't know. No, he does it. He's like, it's all right. And I got the forks and all that. I don't know.
Maureen's in Poplar or Kelly's in Roman Road Bow, or possibly Noted in Leytonstone. They're my 3 that I'm going to choose between tomorrow. Be one of those 3. So anyway, I'm going to press this button now and do the promo, and we're going to sign out. Laters.
Yeah, I'll catch up with you tomorrow then.
Cheers, mate. Look after yourself.
Take care.
Irons Supporting Food Banks collects food and cash donations for needy families in Newham Borough and beyond. Please consider making a donation via their Just Giving page, the link for which you will find in the description section of this stream. Come on, you Irons.
West Ham are massive, everywhere we go. West Ham are massive.